time to wake up. Kincade and Salciunas is on the air. Broadcasting live on the Fanatic app and YouTube channel. Here are your hosts, John Kincade and Andrew Salciunas. 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Well, hopefully all of you survived the major storm that took place yesterday, and hopefully all of you are still hunkered down and not needing to go to work, or in our case, walk to work this morning. John Kincade, hello. Happy Monday.
And a good morning to you. There's something peaceful, though, and very quiet about the snow.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's a nice thing about it. But other than that, it's being an adult in the snow is a lot different than being a kid in the snow.
Yeah, totally different. By the way, shout out to the meteorologists out there. Once we got closer and closer,
they did a great job.
They absolutely, hit it. They got exactly everything right.
Did Christy get it? Now, they had 9.2 at the airport was the official Philly airport thing. We had 12 at our house. We had 12 at the house in the neighborhood. Liv said they had 8 at her place at Temple.
Okay. I don't know. Christy did not do the ruler.
She did not. Now, was the boy out playing yesterday?
Yeah, they went out and played.
Good.
They had a good time.
That's awesome.
And I'm sure there will be more of it as soon as I get home because Daddy wasn't around all day yesterday, Johnny.
I knew that.
So that means Daddy's going to be very hands-on when I get home today. All right, so the conference championship games were last night. We now know the Super Bowl will be between the teams that everybody expected before the season started. The New England Patriots in year 1 of Mike Vrabel, year 2 of Drake May, and the Seattle Seahawks led by Sam Darnold. Everybody knew before the season started that the Patriots would beat the Broncos on the road and that the Seahawks would host the Rams and win the NFC Championship game.
Well, maybe NBC did. Did you see the NBC graphic from Sunday Night Football?
No, I did not.
I'll show it to you.
All right.
Connor, I'm going to show it in case the folks didn't see it and I held it up for our YouTube audience. That's the graphic from the Sunday Night Football.
I see Barkley, Purdy, T.J. Watt, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson.
The 2 closest quarterbacks to the Lombardi Trophy.
Nah.
Drake May and Sam Darnold.
That's ridiculous.
Are the 2 closest quarterbacks.
Is the NFL scripted?
Right there.
610-632-0975.
They are the 2 closest quarterbacks to the Lombardi Trophy. When they did it. So I guess they were figuring, there's no way these 2 are ever getting there.
Yeah, because when you first look at it, Hurts is the most prominent name.
Yeah, we don't see.
He's the closest one.
And they just go from the prominent names to the non-prominent names, and Darnold, and there he is.
That's what they want you to think. What they really are saying, no, see, we always predicted this. That's why they were the closest. So it's Seahawks and Patriots, Super Bowl 60. And so how do we turn this into a conversation about the Eagles? Well, I could do that easily. What did we learn this weekend about the NFL? What did we learn throughout the playoffs about the NFL? It really is amazing, John, looking at, let's forget just for a second that it's just Seahawks Patriots. Let's look at the 4 teams that were playing yesterday. Matthew Stafford would have been the only quarterback going into a season that somebody would have picked out of those 4 teams to have gotten to the Super Bowl or gotten to a conference championship game. I don't think many people expected Sam Darnold to be playing in a conference championship game.
I know Connor didn't.
I don't think anybody expected Bo Nix / Jared Stidham to be playing in the conference championship game.
Absolutely
I don't think anybody expected Drake May to be playing in the conference championship game this year, right? Because it's only year 2 for him. So of the 4 teams that played yesterday, maybe the least shocking one was the Los Angeles Rams. And the crazy thing is, like the Eagles, they probably had the most roller coaster ride of a season among those 4 teams. The Seahawks were consistent all year. The Broncos were pretty much consistent all year. The Patriots were damn sure consistent all year. A lot of people pointed to the schedule being a reason why. But look, they won the games in front of them, and now they're in the Super Bowl. Did you learn anything this year from watching the NFL, from watching the playoffs, to watching this past weekend about ways to win in football, and if there is any sort of clear-cut formula right now in today's NFL?
Well, I would tell you need to be able to get a pass rush. You need to be able to get a consistent pass rush, I believe.
Yeah.
And I think that most times the Eagles can do a pretty good job of that. So I feel pretty good about that one. I would say you don't have to have great quarterback play. Not this year. Not this year, you don't.
And that's one of the things that I thought of.
Which is strange, though, because people would think, and by the way, I would be one of those people, so I'm not pointing any fingers at anybody else, that you would have to absolutely have really good quarterback play.
Yeah. Think about this for a second. And I'm saying this as carefully as possible because there's people that freak out.
Okay.
I have my opinions about Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts is better than Sam Darnold. Let me make that clear. All right?
I think you're fair.
But there is a world because there are people that don't think Jalen Hurts is good, right? Here in this city and on the outside, there's people that don't think Jalen Hurts is good. There's going to be people that are going to sit down the day after the Super Bowl. If Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl, if the Seahawks win the Super Bowl, which they very well could with that defense,
yeah.
Somebody might sit down and go, oh, my God, I just watched 2 Super Bowls with 2 mediocre quarterbacks win it. Somebody would sit there and go, oh, my God, the days of Brady and Mahomes, they're over because now it's Jalen Hurts and Sam Darnold in back-to-back years because there are people that don't value Jalen Hurts much. And it's a fair conversation at times. Sometimes people go over the top. But to your point about quarterback play not needing to be...
You don't need to have... Your quarterback does not have to carry you in today's NFL. If you've got a defense that can... Your defense has to be above standard if you're going to have quarterback play that is not going to be above standard. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Your defense has to be above standard. But, I mean, I tell you, that AFC title game might have been the worst game that I've seen might have been one of the worst football games I've ever seen.
And don't just point to the weather because the first half, it was fine. The first half was fine.
But last weekend, I thought the football was terrible.
Yeah, you talked about it.
I thought it was the worst.
Week, yeah.
I thought it was like the worst weekend of football for a championship weekend I maybe have ever seen. And then I saw it again yesterday. And that's not sour grapes because I was way over the Eagles being out of it, like by this time. And so it was bad football. Really, really bad. But this Eagles season was bad, too.
It absolutely was bad.
It was bad. It was just a bad football year.
Connor, what are you learning about the NFL? One thing I want to point out, the Patriots, who are going to be playing in Super Bowl 60, averaged 18 points per their playoff games. That is the lowest in NFL history.
So, in other words, the Eagles could have gone to the Super Bowl with this offense.
You know what it means? Everybody that said this is a wide-open playoff field on both conferences, absolutely right. I get it.
They were right.
That it's the 2-seeded Patriots and the 1-seeded Seahawks. Like, if somebody 20 years from now looks back at the Super Bowls and goes, man, that was a really good matchup. The 1 seed versus the 2 seed played in the Super Bowl.
They didn't watch the games.
They didn't, right, exactly.
That was terrible.
That means they completely forgot or they weren't old enough or they weren't paying attention because this is NBC must hate themselves right now.
They are absolutely dreading this Super Bowl.
Sam Darnold and the Seahawks.
This is a horrible Super Bowl to sell.
Connor,
this is a bad one.
What have you learned from the NFL? And I have a question specifically for John that I will ask, but I'm curious to get your answer first. And again, people can climb in on this. We got all kinds of stuff getting into. We understand a lot of people aren't out and about, hustling and bustling today. I hope you're not.
Yeah, be careful if you have to. It's still not great.
Yeah, no, they've been plowed, but it's still there.
Except our parking lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Here at One Bala. By the way, if anybody was coming to One Bala, you can't park.
Yeah, no. Well, down the street.
So it's all right.
You could climb in 610-632-0975. What are we learning about today's NFL? And I have a point that I want to make, and then I have a specific question for John because of the snow on your roof. But what do we got, Connor?
Yeah, so the Eagles-centric topic that we had last year when they won the Super Bowl was how they changed the narrative about how you can win. Strong rushing attack, the quarterback throwing the ball all over the place isn't as essential as it might have been for a decade. And I think we saw a doubling down on that with the postseason this year. Like, that's the thing. Old is new again, and it wasn't just a one-off for the Philadelphia Eagles last year. If you can possess the football, run the hell out of it, and play really good defense, quarterbacks can win in a wider range than we've seen in a while. And I think a big part of that is something that you've been on for a while, Andy, which is how much quarterbacks are getting paid.
Oh, yeah.
The inability to evaluate quarterbacks properly. As those numbers go up, it's harder for people to build teams around the great guys in the game right now.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've been saying it for years. Quarterback play is just down, and there's so much money being allocated to quarterbacks because of how quick people are trying to get to those contracts ahead of time. The Eagles are very good at that, signing guys, extending guys 2 years before the end of their contract. But that doesn't mean you have enough information. And now you have a guy in Sam Darnold who's now on his third team in his NFL career. Fourth team in his NFL career.
Carolina.
That's right, Carolina.
Seattle, San Fran, and the Jets.
And this is the team that he's had the most success with. And you mentioned quarterbacks finding different ways to win. Nobody's saying that there won't be a game where they have to throw the football.
Well, the next one, potentially. I don't know. Maybe.
Wait,
I don't know.
Fifth team for Darnold. Vikings as well.
Oh, Vikings too.
He's
Yeah,
been
I
all
forgot
over
about
the place.
I didn't
Five
mention
teams.
Vikings.
You
That's
can win
terrible.
with anyone if you can win with Sam Darnold.
Yesterday.
Hey. No, you can't pull this crap today. You have crapped on this guy
Gonna
for so
continue to.
long, and he is once again. You cannot today. No way can you do this today.
Yeah,
Watch
he's-
me.
after what
he's in
this
the
man's
Super Bowl.
done.
Now
No way.
you're going to sound like somebody that hates Jalen
Now
Hurts.
you're sounding stupid. Now you're sounding stupid.
Sam Darnold yesterday threw for 346 yards. Do you know that that's the most he's thrown for all season?
Oh, and you know why? Because that Rams defense, which I kept telling you about, the Rams defense sucked.
Not just that.
It sucked.
He hasn't had to.
I
That's
understand.
the thing about
Yeah.
the NFL right now. These quarterbacks don't have to.
So why put the ball at risk?
Right, exactly. Well, and that's what Nick Sirianni believes in. So I have a question for you, John, because Connor just sort of said something that I was going to ask. You said old is new again in the NFL. That's why I turned to John Kincade.
Sure.
If that's actually true, like, are you watching an era in football right now that reminds you of any other previous eras in your lifetime? Because before the Eagles won the Super Bowl, it was you had to have Brady or Mahomes, and if you didn't have Brady or Mahomes, it had to be one of the other guys. Think back to the previous Super Bowls. The other one was Stafford versus Burrow, right? It had to be a top quarterback. Quarterbacks had to throw for 300 yards every single week. It kind of does feel like an old school defense wins championships, run the football kind of era.
You see, it's that, and that's again, this is an age thing,
And that's why I
it's
asked you. It's why I turned to
it's
you.
an age thing. Is that this has happened? It's just a recency bias that it hasn't happened recently, because there has been we've always had the situations where a Phil Simms wins the Super Bowl, a Jeff Hostetler wins the Super Bowl, a quarterback who is considered a game manager. I'm trying to think of the three quarterbacks that he won with, but Joe Gibbs won 3 Super Bowls with the Washington Redskins in 11 years with 3 different starting quarterbacks.
Which is crazy.
Now, Joe Theismann was considered the best of the bunch,
Right.
but he honestly won with 3 guys who were more game manager quarterbacks. So it has always been a thing, but the flashy quarterbacks of those eras were always talked about more.
Right, but I'm talking
much
about an
like these.
era now, because again, just go back year by year. Yeah, you had your one-offs as you mentioned, but
in those eras, it wasn't one-off necessarily, because you had in the era of Sims, you had the era of Theismann, you had the era of I'm trying. I for the life of me.
so
I'm
you're
trying to
answering my
remember.
question. It's that era. There is an era that right now, the last 2 seasons, because this isn't a one-off, right? This is
No, this is not a one-off.
back-to-back years where somebody could make the case that the quarterbacks playing in the Super Bowl aren't that great, right? Or at least a quarterback. I'm not saying it about Hurts, but you know the way people talk about Jalen Hurts
And-
in this city and outside of the city of Philadelphia. A lot of people would say Sam Darnold's very similar.
I don't think it's I don't think you can watch Sam Darnold play the last few years. He's 14-3 last year as a starter. He's going to the Super Bowl this year as a starter. I don't think it would be an insult at all to be like saying Jalen Hurts and Sam Darnold. And if people are insulted by that, they're up in their feelings. In many ways, you could say that Sam Darnold, in some ways, has outplayed Jalen Hurts.
Connor would be up in his feelings.
I know he would
Because
be.
you
And he would
discredit
be incorrect.
everything that he did this year.
And he would be incorrect.
Yeah, but here's what I'll say. Like, not just the Sam Darnold thing, but to take this a step further. Obviously,
Okay.
we don't know who wins the Super Bowl. We got 2 weeks till this season actually comes to a close. But even if you project out to next year, look at the guys we look at as the top quarterbacks in the game. Buffalo's a mess. Who knows what's going to happen with Josh Allen? Lamar Jackson just lost his head coach. They haven't been able to win in the postseason. Joe Burrow's in a mess in Cincinnati. I mean, Matt Stafford, how long does he play for? You look around at the great quarterbacks in the game. Mahomes is hurt, and New England. Kansas City's in a weird spot. Like, you can project out that next year there's going to be weird stuff with how open the NFL is.
Oh, there's going to be weird stuff.
We don't have hey, Brady's going to win it every year. Mahomes is going to win it every year. Peyton Manning exists, and he's going to throw the ball around.
And also, too, three of the big guys that we always talk about. It's much more in Cincinnati where we've talked about injury.
Right.
As to why he doesn't get it done. But with Mahomes, when we're talking about with Josh Allen and we're talking about Lamar Jackson, honestly, the questions have to be much more about them. Those two guys getting it done when it matters the most because they haven't done it. And they don't do it.
Yeah.
They've had enough opportunity to, you can absolutely say, are those two guys, do they have what it takes to get it done? And we'll find out now. They're both getting new coaches. They both got new coaches, so no more blaming it on the coach.
I'll also say this, and this is going to be a hot take.
What's that?
Oh, screaming. I might melt the snow
is this
outside.
Scorching?
That'd be nice.
I might go outside.
That'd be nice. You could go help the guys out front.
I should go outside and say this. Maybe having the best team is the formula to win in the Super Bowl.
Okay, that's a hot take.
It's not. It's scorching.
What are you, a hot take artist?
You're not stupid.
But do you get what I'm saying?
That's rage bait.
Right now, is your defense good? Do you have a good offensive line, and how's your ground game? It's not all about the quarterback anymore, though.
It is, but good doesn't get it done.
There was a stretch where it was, to Connor's point, oh man, it's either Mahomes is going to be in it or Brady's going to be in it, or it's going to either be Brady or Manning, right? There was always a stretch in the majority of our lifetime, Connor. We're in our 30s, where it was one of the two guys. I saw the stat that when Mahomes and the Chiefs didn't make the playoffs, it was the first time since whatever year it was where a Manning, Brady, or Mahomes weren't in the playoffs. That's going back to the 90s.
Well, then I ask you, take your thought process to the next level then and answer me this. Does the back of your mind say then that those guys were in some way a product of their systems that they were born into and that they were blessed to play in?
I think Brady,
like Mahomes.
I think Brady spins that when he goes to
Tampa. If Mahomes
Tampa.
was in Buffalo with Sean McDermott,
right,
and Josh Allen was in Kansas City with Andy Reid, do you believe interchangeable that they would have had alternate universe success?
I think we still see greatness from Mahomes.
Do you think Buffalo has won something?
Yes.
I do too.
Yeah, I agree.
See, I think it's Mahomes' greatness. Look, I think Andy Reid.
Do also
we all
think,
think
but
Andy
I do
Reid's
also
great.
think Allen with Reid may win something.
And I think Allen with Reid wins something.
Instead of there being a Chiefs dynasty, it's the two of them where it's the new Manning Brady.
Like I always say, is if Allen was here where Jalen Hurts has been the whole time, I believe Allen has a Super Bowl ring.
Yes.
In one of those opportunities knocking on the door, Allen would have had a Super Bowl ring. But it's like, and that's not to take away from Jalen Hurts. It's just there are certain opportunities that come about. And I don't know if you weren't watching, I'm sure you weren't watching the pregame yesterday. I watched pregame. I took a little, was grading some stuff, and I'm watching the pregame stuff. If it's true that McDaniel took himself out of the Buffalo thing because of the really dysfunctional coaching search that they're having, and that the quarterback is really like interviewing candidates, I at that point I'm like, okay, I'm out. Like, there's no way that I would be saying, wait a minute. I'm supposed to coach you. I'm going to be your head coach. I'm going to be the guy telling you what to do, the way I think, the way I want things done. But to get this job, I have to kiss your ass. I have to tell you the answers you want to hear.
You know why? Because it's all about assets.
And
dude.
the thing is, but it's ridiculous.
Same thing in NBA.
It's the stupidest. It might be the stupidest process.
Look at how Bryce Harper runs the Phillies.
I understand.
But assets, the number one asset of teams has they not all teams, not all organizations, but there are a lot of organizations that will listen to the number one asset or the number one investment.
Listen to interviewing.
Sure.
I'm telling you, if Mike McDaniel really did, if that's really what happened, I credit Mike McDaniel, and I say, okay, I'm out. I'm not being interviewed by the quarterback is not interviewing me saying, well, so what are you going to do if you come in as my head coach? How are you going to work me? How are you going to do this? Well, no, dude, no. I'm the boss. I'm being hired to be your boss. I'm not coming in here and having to kiss your backside.
So it's the way that some leagues operate, man, or some teams in some leagues
That would
operate.
remind me why I now know why they've never won a damn thing with him. And why they've never because that's dysfunctional. That's absolutely dysfunctional. That is a stupid way.
It may be dysfunctional right now. I don't know if that was dysfunctional 5 years ago.
That's a stupid way to hire a coach.
MBD chimes in on our YouTube chat. What he learned from the NFL this year, these playoffs yesterday, it's a mediocre league. There's no dominant team right now. You can have dominance in the regular season.
I think MBD's telling the truth.
All right, so we want to hear more from you. 610-632-0975. What did we learn from the NFL this year as we now wait 2 weeks for the Super Bowl?
Do we?
Where Drake May is going to take on Sam Darnold.
Have you ever honestly heard a Super Bowl matchup that you were like, America is going to yawn at this one?
Yeah, absolutely. They absolutely will. By the way, Flyers beating the Lanch the other day.
Beating?
I know it's been a couple of days removed. Beat the crap out of the Lanch.
7 goals at Colorado?
And they earn a point, at least a point, in all 3 games of that road trip, Johnny.
And they come home tonight to play the Icelanders.
This is a nice, really nice week for the Flyers, man.
They salvaged the season, but now they have 6 games that they really got to salvage the season.
Let's go.
Before the 3-week break to
give
play
me my
exhibition.
double dip in April. Sixers, Flyers, I need it. All right, coming up next, another day, another update on the vacant offensive coordinator spot for the Eagles. Who is still available and top of mind with the Eagles? Oh, boy. We discuss it next year on Kincade Salciunas 97.5, The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Super Bowl is set. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Super Bowl set as the NFC and AFC championship games took place yesterday. On the AFC side, it was New England taking down Denver 10-7 in a blizzard in Colorado. In Seattle, a little bit more open of a game. The Seahawks outlast the Rams in a shootout, 31-27. Now in 2 weeks, it'll be Sam Darnold versus Drake May in Santa Clara for Super Bowl 60. The Eagles, well, they're just hanging out, still working on finding their next offensive coordinator. James Palmer of The Athletic talked recently about the interesting caveats of the Eagles' OC position.
I think when these guys are looking at the situation and the quarterback situation, they are going, can I run exactly what I want to run? I just think there is an aspect of the offense, and it's still Nick's offense, and there's some things that might hold you back from doing the stuff that you want to do.
So we've been hearing dueling takes about the attractiveness of the Eagles' offensive coordinator position. We will keep you updated, but nobody hired yet. Sixers game in Charlotte has been moved up to 3 p.m. today as they try and account for the inclement weather. You can hear that game live here on the Fanatics as they take on the Hornets. You can also listen to the Flyers. Nice win over the weekend in Colorado. They're back home hosting the Islanders, 7 p.m. tonight. You can also hear that game here on the Fanatic. If you're heading down to that game, make sure you drive carefully. This update is brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone. What makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination? Because they offer free battery testing and charging and replaceable, reliable batteries. And they've always got your battery solution. Get in the zone with AutoZone. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. All right, our opening topic today. What did we learn from the NFL this year, these playoffs, the conference championship games? Because it's another year where some may say the NFC team that is playing in the Super Bowl does not have that great of a quarterback. You know how people feel about Jalen Hurts. You know how people feel about Sam Darnold. Both teams, we could say this, take bias out of it, great ground game. Last year, Saquon Barkley, historic, obviously. This year, the combination of Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet did great things for Seattle.
They did.
Last year, the Eagles, the number one ranked defense. This year, Seattle come down as the number one ranked defense, right? They officially finished.
They were awesome.
So, back-to-back years, forget the quarterbacks for a second. Great ground game. Great defense. Now, Sam Darnold had to throw the football in order to win yesterday, much like Jalen Hurts had to throw the football in the Super Bowl because the Chiefs sold out to stop the run.
I remember last year in the Commodes game, he had to throw the ball around.
Sure.
Remember that great fourth down pass to A.J. Brown that really changed the game right before halftime. So there's times. And Jalen, those last two games, he threw that ball around beautifully.
Right. So it's showing you that it's not always the quarterback. It's showing you that you don't need one of the untouchables, right? How many times have we talked about the four? That is Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, and Lamar, to your point, John. Like, we talk about those guys all the time. You don't need one of those four. None of those four were in even the conference championship games, let alone the Super Bowl now. It's unbelievable.
It was a weird year, and to me, it should give everybody the feeling that you can be fine if you bounce back and you do the right things. You'll be right back. The Eagles will be right back where they belong.
Absolutely. They need to hire a competent offensive coordinator.
Yes. Oh, that's a good thing. That's a good transition, too.
Which leads us to the topic. So, Bobby Slowick, bye-bye. Bobby Slowick was a name that you and I were both very intrigued by. I was very much. The success that he had with C.J. Stroud a couple of years ago. They then butted heads. They did not re-sign Bobby Slowick.
They let him go away, and then look what happened.
And then C.J. Stroud throws 4 interceptions in a playoff game.
He's terrible.
And now Bobby Slowick was with the Miami Dolphins. He actually worked as the passing game coordinator for Mike McDaniel. When McDaniel got fired, there was a lot of thought of, okay, Slowick could be available. He was, but the Dolphins promoted him in-house. He's now the offensive coordinator. So that is another name of intrigue that is off the list. And as we continue this offseason, all the intriguing names, like they got, oh, man, I wonder what it would look like with McDaniel. Obviously not coming here. Brian Dable. Nope. And now we sit here, Bobby Slowick, another name off the list, Johnny.
The intriguing names to me, though, I'm happy because the intriguing names that I wanted are not those names.
Right.
So I love the fact is because I did not want those. Now, Brian Dable would not bother me. That's a name that would not bother me. If that had ended up being the name, I would have been absolutely of the belief that he's had enough success working with quarterbacks and doing things that I'd be like, okay, I can tolerate it. But I wanted one of the other names. I wanted Weiss. I wanted Slowick. And now I'm absolutely fascinated the more I read about Declan Doyle. I'm fascinated by going young. And that's what I would like to see them do.
Yeah, I read an article from Ruben Frank of NBC Sports Philadelphia. So you mentioned Declan Doyle, but other candidates that are out there.
Sure.
Gerard Johnson, who was a training camp quarterback with the Eagles back in the summer of 2011.
And I knew nothing of his candidacy at all.
He was with Nick Sirianni back in Indianapolis, so there's the relationship there.
No, thank you.
Cliff Kingsbury, a name that's obviously still out there.
He doesn't want Stoughton.
T. Martin.
Yes, and I know T.
Longtime assistant of John Harbaugh.
I know him. I would love to see that. I'm going to try to reach out to him. I didn't even know he was in the mix. So there's one. That's one.
David Shaw's a name that's popped up a little bit.
The old Stanford coach.
And then Davis Webb, not Joe Webb, but Davis Webb is another name that's been popping up a lot. He's been with Sean Payton the last couple of years in Denver. And, of course, now that the Broncos lost yesterday, you could potentially have that conversation. And the one name that they mentioned that I still believe would be the home run hire, I just don't know if he's available, is Joe Brady. What
do you mean you don't know if he's available? He might be. I mean, if let's see, if Dable does get the job in Buffalo,
Right.
which they're letting their head coach have a lot of they're letting their quarterback, have a lot of say over who the head coach is. Then Dable could end up being the guy, because you would have to believe if Joe Brady was the guy that they already would have rubber stamped it and promoted him.
Sure, but he already had his second interview with the Raiders too.
Right.
Like I think he's what I'm saying is available. I think he's becoming a head coach.
It looks that
I think
way.
Joe Brady
It
is
certainly
either going
does
to be
look
the
that
Bills
way.
head coach or the Raiders head coach. If you're getting second interviews, that's a pretty big deal. And oh, by the way, people saw what Joe Brady was able to do with Josh Allen, take him to another level. The Raiders have the number 1 overall pick and will most likely be drafting a quarterback, and then Brady has time to work with that guy. So I think Brady, unfortunately, is off the list. And so now you look around and it's names where you're doing a lot of research to try to figure out who the hell this person is.
I spent at least 40 minutes yesterday reading, because some of these candidates I would love to have come on here and gone, yeah, I know all about this guy.
I know all about this person.
No. I know what I Google. I know what I read. I know what I've read from people who've written about them. Now, I do know about Charlie Weiss Jr., and what I know about Charlie Weiss Jr. I like a lot.
Sure.
And I've liked it before. I like the pedigree that he comes from, but I also like what I've seen of him working, and I've been told by enough people he's coming. He's coming if a NFL offensive coordinator job comes. He's not going to be at LSU. He's going to be in the NFL.
Sure.
So he'd rather be in the NFL.
By the way, with all this being said, in 10 minutes, I'm going to tell you why I'm so angry about all this.
Dave Dombrowski's fault.
10 minutes. Nope. No, he has.
Well, there is a lot about Dave Dombrowski.
He has his
argument.
time coming, but it's Eagle related. I'm very angry about something, and it hit me this morning. I'll get to that in 10 minutes. What do we got on the text line?
No parking spaces out front? Was that what it was?
No, I was fine with that, man. No kid. Dry January ended yesterday. I had a few beers, watched football with my friends.
And I walked over, put my stuff in the car in the dry garage, and then figured, I'll get in my car and bring my car over to the office.
Nah.
I drive over. There's no parking spots.
You overthought it.
So I had to drive it back.
You thought too much.
It's unbelievable.
We can walk together. Don't you worry. Connor, what do we got on the text line? We're starting off, obviously, with the what we learned discussion. If you have any thoughts on the offensive coordinator position, go for it. I think all the OC talks are topics are dried out.
Yeah,
why isn't this a destination? Why is this a destination?
And again,
do you want Dable McDaniel?
There are, to the content whores out there, and I do say the content whores that just steal other people's work and do it. No one has been offered the Eagles' offensive coordinator's job. No one's been offered the job. So no one has rejected the Eagles.
Right.
They have not offered the job to anybody. Now, I was told yesterday, in fact, that if Brian Dable didn't have a Buffalo opening, that he would have chosen between the Eagles and Tennessee immediately, and so the Eagles might have had a hire. Because I think they would have offered him. But
when there's 10 vacant head coaching jobs at the beginning.
Right. Well, he had a head coaching thing and things. So the Eagles were not going to offer Brian Dable a offensive coordinator's job when a head coaching job he was interviewing for.
Yeah.
So they weren't offering.
And of course,
no one has been offered
open.
the job. So
right.
There it is.
What do we got, Connor, on the what we learned from the NFL this season, these playoffs, the conference championships, where people, I think the kids would say this is a mid Super Bowl that we're about to watch in 2 weeks?
That's a little shelf life old. Mid?
I don't know, dude.
Yes, a little old.
Well, man, I was playing N64 yesterday.
Okay, well, then that's right in tune with that.
Look at who you're talking to, bro.
That is, you're in tune with that.
What do we got?
So Coach Mike will lead us off. He's kind of marrying the two topics we've gotten into so far. He says, what did I learn this season? Coordinators matter more than most like to admit. Schematic stubbornness gets exposed fast in a copycat league, and adjustments separate contenders from spectators. The margin between elite and fraud is razor thin. Injuries, timing, and situational football decide narratives more than raw talent.
Or maybe elite doesn't even exist right now. You'll have elite individuals, like obviously.
Or elite units.
Yeah. Right. But like elite team, I don't know.
I mean, the offense we watched in the second game was the thing of beauty.
Yes.
On both sides. The offense we watched in the first game, I got to tell you, that horrendous. It was horrible.
Yeah. And that was before the weather too. Like let's not just talk about the weather. Like that was a bad game yesterday.
It was terrible. Really bad.
I saw my man Dawood on the YouTube chat just cracking up that Drake May is going to the Super Bowl throwing 86 yards.
Yeah, that's wild.
Now, wait a minute,
86
though.
yards.
Wait a minute, though. Now, in this town, people got their panties in a twist over anybody looking at a stat line. All they would say is Jalen Hurts won.
Yeah.
So does the same apply to Drake May or not?
No, because we don't like him. He's not ours.
He's not ours, yeah, so it doesn't matter
Throw the
as
ball,
much.
coward.
Exactly.
All right, coming up next, I just mentioned it. I got really angry this morning when I was prepping the show. My back is always turned towards you guys, so you didn't see the scathing looks I had.
You were angry.
Looking at the computer when I was typing out the show sheet.
You were hammering away.
I wonder if you guys have realized it yet. And if not, I'll tell you what it is, obviously. And I'm curious what your reaction will be. It's about the Eagles. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. All right, once the snow melts, let's hit the roads again.
It's not melting for a while, dude.
Once the roads are cleared, let's hit the roads again. Come hang out with me and my friends from Corona. And oh boy, did I have a couple of those yesterday. This Saturday, January 31st. So we'll have a nice weekend experience at the Borough Pub in Bristol from 6:30 to 8:30 for a Sixers pregame party that you don't want to miss. I'll be there getting you ready for tip-off. We got awesome drink specials all night long. Great deals. $4 Modelo drafts. $4 Corona bottles, the perfect way to kick off your Sixers night. And the best part is you can win a pair of Sixers tickets to an upcoming home game. When I was at Casey's last week in Drexel Hill, man, tons of people. The Sixers are back in the map because a lot of people wanted to try to win tickets last week. So grab your friends, stop by the Borough Pub in Bristol, and hang out with us from 6:30 to 8:30 this Saturday night. It's the Fanatic Sixers pregame party hosted by me, Andrew Salciunas, in partnership with my friends over at Corona. You got to be 21 plus. Please drink responsibly. For more details, visit 975thefanatic.com, and we'll see you there.
The Fanatics. Fanatic.
It is 6:46 here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic. Get back to our text messages momentarily. I hope everybody is enjoying their most likely day off. Are all schools closed?
The schools are closed.
Or do we have to do a all schools closed in the Delaware Valley?
No, the schools are closed.
Do we have to do the numbers?
Now, what was your school number?
I don't know. See, I was past that time. How
did you find out you were not going to school?
Phone calls. It was like an automated.
Oh, an automated
phone call to the landline.
Connor, you too?
We had the news scroll at the bottom of the news channel that had the names of all the schools.
But there are times where the phone call came in before the scroll.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't they give you an email? Like, why wouldn't they just send an email?
Emails weren't like that hot in the streets.
Yeah.
What?
We got more landline phone calls than emails.
You guys aren't that old. Like, emails are very huge.
Think about your emailing back 25 years ago, right? I'm 7 years old.
Emails were 25 years ago?
Yeah, dial-up internet.
No, but emails were still
It was easier to make a phone call than it was to
So it was like a robocall type of thing. Yeah, we had to listen to the radio, and it was 454 was grade school. So St. Anastasia's was 454, and then high school, O'Hara was 459. But then we had to listen to 454 for your transportation. So sometimes 459 was open and 454 was closed.
Yeah.
So then Betty would say, get your ass up to the Red Arrow and get to school.
That sucks.
Oh, yeah. She's like, you ain't staying home.
And R.I.P. Harry Donahue, right? One of the voices that would tell you if your school was
when
closed.
When I was a little kid, Tom LeMaine was the Snowfall Philharmonic. They would play like music do it. On the old, there's a radio station that now does sports that used to have that back in the day.
All right. Let me tell you why I'm angry. And I wonder.
I'm surprised you're angry because we had a great day yesterday. We didn't do anything. We laid around a hotel. We played video games. We had beers and cocktails and good food. We had a good
hamburger.
time.
Yeah, shout out to the Hilton, by the way.
By the way, the hamburger was good.
Yeah, shout out to them keeping the kitchen going.
And it was really good. They're nice people over there.
Yeah, they were awesome. All right. The Eagles won the Super Bowl on February 9th.
Yes.
Of 2025. And like, when was the official date that Patullo got hired?
He got hired after the parade.
But it was in February.
Yeah.
Wasn't that long.
Yeah, they just wasted their time.
Do you know we're about 2 weeks out from that date? And the Eagles are still searching for a coordinator.
Correct. Well, that could mean because maybe there's somebody from the Rams that they like.
Could be.
Which is one of the candidates that I think that they're going to look at.
February 19th, by the way, the official date of the promotion. Thank you, Connor, of Kevin Patullo.
So it was the Wednesday after the parade.
You do realize that there's a chance that this could bleed into February, right? We're 5 days away. We're 5 days away from reaching February.
Yeah, the parade
in the calendar.
The February is Sunday. Wow, it's amazing. Sunday.
So the Eagles last year were basically telling you there were no other candidates available.
I don't want them rushing, though. Do you want them rushing?
No. I'm saying I'm angry about last year.
Oh, okay.
Because last year they told you, well, at that time of the year, there were no other candidates. That was the messaging that came from the Eagles. That was the messaging that a lot of people that covered the Eagles were saying. That was the messaging that people nationally were saying. That, you know what, because the Eagles won the Super Bowl, you just got to deal with it. Because they won the Super Bowl, there's not many other candidates. We're about to reach February, and the Eagles still have not hired an offensive coordinator, which I am okay with. But what I'm telling you is it pisses me off that last year they felt like all the candidates were dry, there were no candidates left.
You realize a lot of the Patullo apologists that told you, who were they going to get? There were no other candidates. Are the candidates that they're looking at right now.
Exactly.
They could have done their due diligence last year.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
But they were too lazy. They wanted to give the job to the bros. And there was a fist bump. There was an elbow. Dude,
no.
Dude, we made it.
Armbar.
Dude, we made it.
Armbar.
We made it, man. We won the Super Bowl and you got promoted. I told you I'd get you promoted. I told you we'd do this together. You know that conversation happened. You know that. Look, dude, I got it done for you. You know that conversation.
A lot of guys that are available right now.
They could have been researched last year, but they didn't take the time.
And it hit me this morning. Like, we're doing this right now, as they should. The Eagles are doing the appropriate stuff this year.
Yep.
Which I'm happy about.
Yeah, you're not ripping them for it.
But every once in a while, you get reminded of something that they did in the past that just kind of gets you angry again. And look, it's not something that's going to take over my day today. I saw somebody on our YouTube chat that I got to calm down. It's not going to take over the day. But it hit me this morning. Oh, my God. They basically told you that these guys weren't available last year. We needed to make a quick hire. No, you didn't.
This is where, during the summer, and I could go back and look at my own mentions, when I was complaining about this last summer, and people were like, oh, my gosh, there were no candidates. Who would you have hired? Who would it have been? These are the issues. They didn't do their homework. The homework that they're doing now, and I applaud them.
Yes.
Now, I applaud them for doing this process because they were too lazy to do it last year. And they would have found any one of a number of candidates that is more qualified than Kevin Patullo. And if you question that, all you have to do is say to yourself, 11 teams looked for an offensive coordinator this offseason. Kevin Patullo get an interview?
Yeah, no.
Kevin Patullo get one phone call to go and interview, like talk to this team?
No, he'll be on a staff somewhere and forgot.
Exactly.
Yeah, only call he's getting is if this kid's schools are closed.
Yeah.
Maybe
that's why his phone's ringing.
Maybe
today.
he's the guy calling people, telling them schools.
He could. He had a very bland voice.
They'd be like, Kevin, we need you to make these phone calls, and they got to be made before 8 o'clock at night. And he'd be looking at the chart of all the numbers to call, and the clock would be running out, and he'd be like,
yeah. He'd be freaking out.
Wait a minute, 215.
Is my anger warranted, Connor?
Absolutely.
No. All right.
And the Eagles, I think the way they handled it in some ways in the moment was also warranted. They tried to get away with one. And the way that they had run their organization and what they accomplished last year gave them a little bit of leeway to take a shot. It was a very bad shot. It did not work out. And some people saw it at the time. Some people are looking at it with hindsight. But there's no denying at this point, they tried to take a shortcut with the offensive coordinator. It bit them in the ass, and it cost them a chance to repeat.
It literally cost them a chance to repeat. It did. I'm sorry. If they had a competent offensive coordinator, I'm not saying
it gave them a chance.
It gave them a chance. The offense may not have looked so much better, but again, look at the teams that are about to play in the Super Bowl.
I would tell you a competent offensive coordinator. I tried to think of this yesterday. A competent offensive coordinator, there is no chance that the Eagles go out wild card weekend.
I agree with you.
That is all that I'll say.
Well, John, I'll say they may not even been playing wild card weekend.
No, there could have been. They could have had the bye. They could have had the bye. We don't know. But there's no chance they go out wild card weekend. They're playing divisional playoff weekend.
I'm glad I got that off my chest.
I think so. That's fair.
Do you feel better?
No.
But put it aside now.
Yeah, I got it.
Put it aside now.
All right, coming up next, what did these NFL playoffs tell us about the league? We'll further that discussion. It's what we started the show off with. 610-632-0975 is how you can climb in. Let's also open this up to other leagues. What other changes have we seen in other leagues, and what staples remain the same? Where you go, you got this, you have a winning team, you have a winning formula. We'll discuss that next. It's Kincade Salciunas on this Monday morning, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
It's New England, Seattle in the big game. I'm Connor Thomas. The Super Bowl is set. NFC and AFC championship games were played yesterday. On the AFC side, New England took down Denver 10-7 in snowy conditions out there in Colorado. Seattle, well, they didn't have the snow. There was a lot of offense in that one, though. A 31-27 win over the Rams. So now in 2 weeks, it'll be Sam Darnold versus Drake May in Santa Clara for Super Bowl 60. The Eagles, their focus, unfortunately not on the big game, but on finding their next offensive coordinator. James Palmer of The Athletic joined Middays with Marks last week and talked about the interesting caveats of the job.
I think it's around the league enough about what you have to do offensively to make this group work. Doesn't mean you can't win a lot of games with them. You certainly can. But I do think when people look at the job, there's a couple things they're curious about, and maybe rightfully so.
Yeah, quarterback, head coach, the ownership, all of that has been commented on when it comes to the Eagles' offensive coordinator position. We'll keep you updated. Sixers game in Charlotte against the Hornets been moved up to 3 p.m. today, trying to avoid the inclement weather. That game live here on the Fanatic. Flyers live on the Fanatic at 7 p.m. as they host the Islanders. If you're heading down to that game, make sure you drive carefully. Road's still rough. This update is brought to you by Audible. If you're stuck in traffic, take care of you with help from the top voices in well-being on Audible. Sign up for a free trial at audible.com/wellbeing. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best Birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5 The Fanatic.
It is a football Monday. Still in the NFL, presented to us by our friends at the local Bryant Home Comfort Team. Visit nopaybryant.com to keep your HVAC in the starting lineup. Obviously, it has not been a football Monday for the Eagles for quite some time after they lost in the wild card round. Sorry to continue to bring that up. But the Eagles have that vacant offensive coordinator position, and when we watch the playoffs unfold, the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots will be playing in Super Bowl 60. Not the Tom Brady-led New England Patriots and Russell Wilson-led Seattle Seahawks with the Legion of Doom, excuse me. It's Drake May, year 2 quarterback, with year 1 head coach Mike Vrabel, who the Tennessee Titans just kicked to the curb for whatever freaking reason. I still don't understand. Versus the Seattle Seahawks, with McDonald's as a head coach that not many people know. I saw who's the guy that does NFL Network? Kyle Brandt. Kyle Brandt did a man on the street thing, asking people.
Do they know his name? Do they know who he is?
They showed a picture of him and said, "Do you know who this guy is?" And before every time he did it, he asked them, "How much do you watch football? How much do you take in football?" And a lot of the guys were like, "I watch all the time, Red Zone every Sunday. I watch your show, fantasy football. I'm in 3 leagues," and nobody knew who it was. And it's unbelievable, right? And so I'm asking today at 610-632-0975, what have we learned from the NFL this year? There's a lot of things that you can point to, and it's just different than what we were accustomed to for a long time, where you had to have the top quarterback back-to-back years. If Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl, there will be people that Monday after the Super Bowl, not us per se, but there will be people that go, "Oh my God, what has happened to the NFL?" Where Jalen Hurts and Sam Darnold are back-to-back Super Bowl champions.
They will say it, and it will be hard to argue that quarterback play has not declined. Quarterback play has declined.
Yeah, it absolutely has.
You cannot watch, and whether you're going to get up in your feelings about Jalen Hurts, I'm sorry if you do. Sorry if reality's got to hit you in the face, because I'm a huge Jalen Hurts supporter. I've been told I'm a Jalen Hurts apologist. So it's that, but you have to be realistic about it. It's quarterback play has declined big time.
Yeah.
And Jalen's been part of that.
Sure. And Mike on our text line earlier in the show brought up how important coordinators are. I mean, you just look at it right now. It's coaches and coordinators. Even though Matthew Stafford is going to win MVP, he's toward the end of his career. He was one of the 4 remaining quarterbacks in the NFL yesterday. You had Bo Nix led the way to Denver playing in the game yesterday.
And the best quarterback on the field on Championship Sunday was so far and away Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, and not even close.
And watching him throw the football, just whiz it in there in tight windows and stuff like that. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks – there should be no reason that he's thinking about hanging him up, because he deserves the MVP this year. It's not – I know it's that people are like, oh, he's getting his Lifetime Achievement Award.
No,
he deserves the MVP.
He balled out this year.
Unbelievable.
And had a much more difficult schedule than Drake May, which is sort of the big talking point. And so you watch –
But go getting through the playoffs just with Drake May? He did, and I said it to Connor yesterday. He did have to go through Chargers defense, Denver's defense, and the what was last week was Texans defense.
Texans defense, yeah.
Those are 3 really good defenses, but he was terrible.
Yeah,
Drake May was terrible.
It's unbelievable, and it goes back to the money that these quarterbacks are getting paid that I've been talking about for a couple of years now. There's quarterbacks that obviously deserve it, but the amount of money that is being allocated to quarterbacks in the NFL right now, and the fear of losing it, right? Fear of losing that player. Now, credit to Jacksonville, right? I thought it was a mistake to pay Trevor Lawrence based off of him being drafted number 1 overall.
Till they got a cord.
Not based off of anything that he had shown in the NFL. They get a real head coach, and Liam Cohen changes things. Tua Tagovailoa got paid for accomplishing nothing in the NFL, but obviously was a top draft pick, and they wanted to build around him. The amount of time that you have to make these decisions, a lot of teams panic because they're afraid of what's on the other side. And sometimes what's on the other side is the same, if not worse, or it could be better. And you look at the Seattle Seahawks, who have decided, all right, look, we're going to pay journeyman right now. They paid Geno Smith. It was like a 3-year contract. Then they get rid of him and they bring in Sam Darnold. Instead of drafting a quarterback or making some crazy trade for a top guy, they paid decent amount of money to Sam Darnold, but not top money in the NFL. And they're the team that's playing in the Super Bowl. It all comes down to what your team is. It's the hottest take in the world. Do you have a good football team or not? It's not about the quarterback right now.
Also, too, you got to think about this, too, is that, and we'll get into this in the summer, in the spring, Howie's going to get a call this offseason from Jalen Hurts camp saying, show me the money, or because I want a renegotiated contract and I want more money. And I think the contract, those discussions are going to get interesting. I think it's going to get interesting.
Absolutely,
what is, well, how much money you want? What are we willing to do that?
Yeah.
I think it's going to get interesting.
They negotiate early here. Yep. All right, go ahead.
Just one thing I wanted to bring up, too, with this conversation about, like, what's changed as well. We talked about the running game and the strong defense. But the other thing that I think is very clear in the current NFL is you can win with a mid quarterback, just to use mid as the expression. Mm-hmm. Look at the head coaches that have gone deep into the postseason this year or that are coaching in the Super Bowl. Like, you can't win with a mid coach or a mid coaching staff. Like, it's almost more important than what you're doing at the quarterback position.
Make sure you say coaching staff.
Yes.
Kind of. That's really that's something, too, that's a really important part of this conversation.
Like, you don't luck into, hey, a bad coach wins the Super Bowl anymore. Like, that doesn't happen. I don't know that it ever did, but it might be the focal point.
People say that about Sirianni.
Well, you could say that about him, but the guy wins consistently.
Well, people would say it about Doug Peterson, Sirianni. I'm drawing a blank in Baltimore.
Harbaugh?
No. The other coach that won before him.
Oh, Billick.
Brian Billick. I mean, he always got that tag.
Yeah.
As being a coach
was, 2001?
Yeah, but I mean, there's always coaches in every era that go, man, that guy won a Super Bowl? He was a terrible coach. That people are like, man, that's incredible that he won.
There might be people that will one day say that about Sirianni.
No, I mean, I think that could be. And that's up to Nick Sirianni to write a different chapter.
Absolutely.
All right, he can write his own story.
You could text in or call in 610-632-0975. What are we learning about the NFL right now? Back-to-back years where, again, on the outside or even here in Philadelphia, there's a lot of people that diminish what Jalen Hurts has been able to do. Back-to-back years, the NFC, for some people, is being led by a quarterback that not many people think that highly of. Jalen Hurts last year and Sam Darnold this year. You're seeing great defenses win football games. You're seeing ground games win football games. It's not all about, throwing it all over the field. What do we got on the text line? 610-632-0975. And then we'll open up this conversation sort of as an overall sports discussion. What do we got?
Nick from Jersey checks in. We appreciate Coach Sirianni listening. What the NFL taught me was a reminder to never shortcut anything in life like the Eagles did with their OC hiring, as said by Connor, because sometimes great opportunities don't present themselves until after you screw up. Hopefully this makes the front office sick realizing they had a chance to redo.
I mean, look, that's why I'm angry today. A little bit. It's not going to take over my day. But the fact that we're still doing a coaching search and last year they told you that, well, there weren't any other candidates at that time. Well, because you win the Super Bowl, there's not as many people available. We're 2 weeks away from the Super Bowl. And the Eagles are still looking for an offensive coordinator.
And the candidates, the vast majority of their list, all would have been available last year if they had just looked under rocks, done the research, done it. The guys were there.
Made a few phone calls.
But they didn't want to do the due diligence. They allowed Bro to hire Bro.
Yeah.
They did the frat boy routine, and it was stupid.
That's unbelievable.
And it was stupid.
We're talking about let's face it, sports is our business, right? Teams are business. It's a major corporation.
And they did it. The thing is, they did it in 2023. And to have repeated the mistake coming off a Super Bowl just makes no sense.
That one I understood because at least Brian Johnson called plays in college.
No, he did.
But total made no sense. Like, it made no sense. Brian Johnson was talked about when he came to Philadelphia from Florida that he might be a future head coach. That was talked about.
Now, be honest. When I was obsessing on it in the summer, when I was telling you, I'm like, this is driving me crazy because I think it's going to derail the season. I'm worried about this. Did you think I was nuts?
No, I just thought you were nuts that it was 50 days before kickoff and you had like a night terror
and
about
I
it.
knew it was coming.
Like, I didn't disagree with you.
I saw the whole season play out. Like I saw it in my head. They've turned the keys over to an incompetent guy. I'm like, 17 years, nobody promotes you?
Yeah.
Like what? Like how? That can't happen.
And because the Eagles won the Super Bowl, they thought they had no time to do their due diligence.
No, they didn't. They're showing you this year.
Yeah.
They knew they did.
Yeah,
they just decided to go, yo, bro, we made it, man. Come on, bro. Congratulations, bro.
Armbar Sellies, man.
There was.
They did them in the first half every single game and not in the second half because they didn't score points in the second half.
Or the one game in the second half, not the first half.
Right, exactly. All right, so let's further this conversation. What are we learning about the NFL with the other leagues that we love and watch every single day? Like the NBA is a big one where the super team is not the winning formula anymore. There was an era, much like the NFL is sort of escaping the era of Brady Mahomes, need the top quarterback, need to be able to throw the ball all over the field in order to win. We've exited an era where the NBA, it's not super teams anymore.
And, well, everybody sort of went from – I think it sort of went, though, from super teams in the NBA, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you believe I'm wrong. It went from super teams to you got to have the big three.
Right. Big three was a big one, yeah.
Now I think you sort of got to have the big two.
Sure.
And then assemble. I don't even hear the term big three anymore.
You need a star, right? Like every team needs a star. I understand people last year were bummed out by the teams that were in the NBA Finals, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a star.
A star player.
Tyrese Halliburton was playing like a star up until his injury.
And he's a star
He's
player.
an all-star. Yeah, he's a tremendous player.
He's a star player.
So the NBA kind of escaped that. The other thing is youth, right? Like the days of Daryl Morey, and he fell victim to it. Daryl Morey believed that you needed to have like the aged player, the player that has gone through the wars, the player that has had experience. There was the old talk, and look, it was real, that the age 27 for stars was when they started winning. Like, look up the age 27 and NBA. And a lot of guys, Kobe, Michael Jordan.
Shaq won. I think Shaq won 27 or 28.
That's when they won their first title. Giannis, it was 27. The exception was like Kawhi Leonard, but Kawhi was playing with Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker. So like it was a little bit different for Kawhi Leonard. But you look at the league now, it's youth that's winning. And that's not something that is a change in the NBA that we're seeing right now.
Is what you said about coaches earlier. You think the same thing with the NBA?
I don't.
I don't either. I used to think coaches was the absolutely most critical thing. I used to think the NBA was sort of like an extension of college game, where I think the college game is so much about coaching.
Yeah.
NBA, I don't really feel that way anymore.
Yeah, I think we went through a weird stretch there where there were some great coaches married up with some great players, like Steve Kerr with Steph and Spoelstra with LeBron.
Right.
And you saw those guys always in it, so you added both the coach and the player in there. But the NBA, like football, is the ultimate the coach matters sport. Baseball's probably the least, and then you can throw hockey and basketball in there wherever they fit. But it's not the same impact because the play calling is not as constant, you know?
Right. You can't have a bad NBA coach. You have to have a good one. I do believe you have to have a good one, but you can't have a bad NBA coach.
You can't have a bad one, but you don't have to have. You don't have to have Red Auerbach. You don't have to have
if you're LeBron, you can win with Luke Walton.
Right, exactly.
And
Disney World.
And having done long-form interviews with Phil Jackson will flat out tell you, people make you out to be a great coach. I had great players.
Well, that's why I love Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio will be the first one to say that.
I had great players.
Vic Fangio said this year, good players make me look smart.
And he would say it. He'd be like, I had great players. And he said, now, I was more of a great psychiatrist of how to get people to play together.
Right.
And when Shaq and Kobe started to have their issues, it was like, okay, dude, Shaq, you got to go.
Right.
You got to go, dude. It's time to go. If it's going to be, I can't, if this isn't going to work, bye-bye, big man.
Sure.
I'm choosing the kid.
Sure.
Because he's got more shelf life, more athletic, more versatility to his game. Goodbye, big man. And so you got to be a diplomat. You got to be massage egos, but you also got to be the guy to go, okay, bye. You're gonna be a You two are gonna be a problem. Only one of you can stay, and
right.
I'm gonna choose this guy. I love you, but you're gone. Yeah. That's the way it goes.
Baseball, you have to have a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's one thing. That's one thing that we've learned.
Yes.
You have to have a lot of money in order to win. You talk about managers. Look, there are good managers in Major League Baseball, but you know how I feel about like hitting coaches and that kind of stuff. Like I don't feel the same way that other people feel about hitting coaches. But fundamentals matter. Like when John talks about doesn't matter until it matters. Like you're seeing that fundamentals in baseball still matters. That should never have gone away. That should, like, we talk about, oh my God, the Dodgers just buy everybody. You know what they do? They buy good players. They buy players that do have the fundamentals, the good leadership, good, guys that come up clutch. Like that stuff still matters in Major League Baseball.
Other than a right fielder misplaying a ball, and in Game 1. A terrible misplay of a ball in Game 1.
Where Hernandez let it go to the wall.
Yeah, absolutely misplay. By the way, then he comes back and has
hits
a
the
big
home run,
and has a big swat. Anything else where you say Dodgers fundamentals really helped the Phillies get back in a game?
No, not that I can remember.
And all year long, I harp on it. The Phillies constantly do stupid things on the base paths, fundamentally defense, that give teams extra outs, and everyone's like, it's no big deal. Look at them. They're winning 96 games. It doesn't matter. And then they get to the playoffs, and it matters.
Because you're playing other teams that do value fundamentals.
Damian Woody talked about it today on SportsCenter overnight, on All Night. And he just says, the little stuff matters and gets exemplified during the playoffs when you're playing really good teams. So all the stuff that doesn't matter. And the Rams secondary sucked all year.
Right.
The Rams defense was subpar all year. But when it comes down to the playoffs, then you get into a big game on the road, and all the mistakes that they make, the special teams mistakes and everything, all came back and haunted them yesterday.
By the way, little things also, coaching decisions, which yesterday
just gets me nuts.
John was going nuts. We're at the hotel lobby bar of the Hilton yesterday, sitting back, drinking a couple cold ones, watching the AFC Championship game, and then you're texting us later that night, ripping the coaches.
Well, again,
nobody believes in field goals anymore, man.
Well, I mean, it's the Denver game, and I was glad to hear the NFL panel of players that they had on ESPN overnight too, all ripping Sean Payton for it.
Yeah.
You're playing your backup quarterback. You have a chance for a field goal that is less in perfect conditions at the time, no snow, where you have a chance to go up 10-0, give them a 2-score lead. And Sean Payton's got to do the Harry Hard-on routine and go with the ultra-aggressive.
4th and 1.
And they end up turning the ball over downs and leads right back down the field, and they score, and it's 7-7.
By the way, with Bo Nix, baby.
And to me,
you're doing it with Jared Stidham. Like, what are you doing?
Go up 10-0. Your defense is balling out. Go up 2 scores, and Sean Payton doesn't do it. Last night, again, Sean McVay doesn't take a field goal, and it's 31. It could be 31-30, and your defense, 2 of the last 3 possessions, has balled out.
Finally got stops.
Got stops and everything. Go 31-30. You have 2 of your 3 timeouts. You have the 2-minute warning. You have plenty of time. Go be down by 1 point. Go play some defense. You could have given up 2 first downs and still been in the game.
But the chart tells me that if we go up this amount of points,
Shawnee.
the percentage of us winning goes up. And that's what they freaking believe in. Like, it's amazing. Yesterday, the analytics does not take into account Jared Stidham playing quarterback for the Denver Broncos.
The analytics, that chart, and it's beautiful that you just said it because it's the truth. The analytics chart does not take the variable. There's no variables to say, wait a minute. If I'm looking at the analytics chart, wait a minute. Bo Nix is my quarterback. Or Matt Stafford's my quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh, Jared Stidham's my quarterback?
By the way, you know what else the analytics doesn't take into account?
Weather conditions.
I was just about to pull up the weather app.
It was horrible.
If you click on this weather app on your iPhone, it tells you when there might be precipitation.
And why wouldn't you go up 10-0 in a game with your backup quarterback when you know that the second half is going to be crappy weather?
Sean Payton may have been the only person in the country that did not watch the weather reports this past week.
He out-thunk himself yesterday.
Because if you know that there's going to be snow, and you don't know how much snowfall, but you know that weather impacts the NFL. You know that it impacts the way a game's going. If you could go up 10-0 before a snowstorm hits your stadium, why wouldn't you do that?
I was so maddened by it, but watching that game, and I just said here, and I said it to both of you, I'm like, kick it. Go down by 1 point. You could have given up 2 first downs. Your defense didn't even have to play like spectacular. You could have given up 2 first downs, still gotten the ball back, had like a minute 30 for Matt Stafford to get you in field goal range. Yeah. And you don't do it, and you're down by 4, so you have to have a miracle, and you screw yourself. The Rams deserve to lose the game.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
And that's why coaching, something that will never go away. Coaching matters in the NFL. Absolutely.
Sean's a great coach, but I think in big games, a lot of his decision-making is so, we're going to be aggressive, and that's what we do, and that's who we are, and we're just going to stick to our personality.
Except for earlier this year against the Eagles, he took his foot off the gas pedal.
And turtled up. And yesterday, it's like, come on, dude, just take the points.
Yeah.
For God's sakes.
All right, what has changed or what have we learned in the NFL was our jumping off point, 610-632-0975. With the way these playoffs worked out, with Sam Darnold leading the charge of the Seattle Seahawks, playing in a Super Bowl, not something anybody, I think, ever expected.
Amazing.
What are we learning about the NFL? And we can open up this conversation to the other major sports as well. You can climb in at 610-632-0975. Now, speaking of what we've learned or what has changed, how I know this city is more about the future of the Sixers than the here and now. I'll explain more. Coming up next, it is Kincade and Salciunas on this Football Monday here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Pat Seahawks in Santa Clara. I'm Connor Thomas, and that's your Super Bowl matchup as championship weekend has come and gone. On the AFC side, it was New England going into Denver, blizzard conditions, and finding a 10-7 win over the Broncos. Seattle, well, they had nice weather and nice offense as well. 31-27, they outlast the Rams in a shootout. Now in 2 weeks, it's going to be Sam Darnold versus Drake May in Santa Clara for Super Bowl 60. Who saw that coming? The Eagles, well, they're focused on the offense coordinator position. James Palmer of The Athletic talked recently on Middays with Marks about the interesting caveats of getting hired for the Eagles job.
I think when these guys are looking at the situation and the quarterback situation, they are going, can I run exactly what I want to run? I just think there is an aspect of the offense, and it's still Nick's offense, and there's some things that might hold you back from doing the stuff that you want to do.
We'll keep you updated as that coaching search continues. The Sixers game in Charlotte against the Hornets has been moved up to 3 p.m. today as they try and account for the inclement weather. That game will still be live here on the Fanatic at 3. You can also listen to the Flyers host the Islanders 7 p.m. tonight. That live here on Fanatic. If you're driving down to that game, make sure you're careful on the road. Still very snowy and icy out there. This update is brought to you by Dairy Queen. The new spicy menu at DQ has opposites attracting. Spicy flamethrower chicken strips now served with a dip of sweet DQ soft serve. Sounds wrong, but tastes so right. The new spicy menu at DQ at participating locations. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic.
hour is brought to you by the BetParks online casino and sportsbook app. Live bet sports on the BetParks app. Play all your favorite casino games. There's always another way to win on the BetParks online casino and sportsbook. Got to be 21 in Pennsylvania, Jersey, or Maryland. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, I said something last week when we had Keith Pompey on, and I know we discussed it with Amy as well, Fridays with Fadul, about the way Sixers fans are viewing the team now as opposed to previous years. I'll talk more about that coming up in a little bit, but on our YouTube chat, as we are discussing what we learned about the NFL this year, or what we have learned about the NFL the past 2 seasons, where ground games and defenses are the teams that are getting to the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, they're critical.
Absolutely. I mean, look, even the Chiefs, we think so much about Mahomes and Andy and it's his high-powered offense. They run the football very effectively. They did not this year because for whatever reason, they still thought Kareem Hunt was going to kick it into gear. And he actually had some good games from this year.
He did.
They need a running back. And not one in the 7th round like Isaiah Pacheco. They need a running back to help Patrick Mahomes out a little bit.
I wouldn't be shocked if they went to the free agent market to a second contract guy.
Sure. Yeah. I think
I don't think drafting high, but go to a second contract guy.
Yeah.
Try to get
they've been able to win with
sure
guys in the backfield, like Samaje Perine. They've been able to win, but they need a back. And we're seeing it right now, running the football, and defense wins championships, which is unbelievable. On our YouTube chat, Alex chimes in. I think we all learned that the Jets are the worst run organization in all of sports. And until that doofus sells the team, they will forever be the worst run organization in sports. It really is amazing. There's no light for them at the end of the tunnel.
Who's the son?
Brick Johnson,
which is named after Stephen A. Smith's character on General Hospital.
Maybe.
And so when your son is telling you Madden ratings of players in free agency and stuff like that, you're a dopes.
Yeah,
you're dopes.
Yep, that's what they're making decisions off of. It's unbelievable. All right, so last week I'm a clip guy. You guys know that. I'm not somebody that dives deep into podcasts. Bill Simmons has his podcast.
I can't handle his podcast.
Diehard Celtics fan.
Cannot handle
Bill Simmons. So Bill Simmons was talking about trades because the trade deadline is 2 weeks away in the NBA. February 5th, I believe, is the trade deadline.
It is right when the NHL season goes on hiatus.
Okay. So we're almost there.
The two things collide, so that's where it all comes together.
So Bill Simmons was talking about Giannis, right? Because Giannis popped up on the injury report again.
Shocker.
The other day. Giannis, they've been talking about him being traded for a while. They came to terms about him staying during the offseason, and then that quickly changed. It's like Crosby with the Raiders. Oh, man, I want to get traded. Oh, wait, you paid me money? I don't want to get traded anymore. And now I want to get traded again because I remember that this situation sucks. And I got blinded by the dollar amount that you put on a piece of paper in front of me. So he was talking about the trade possibilities of Giannis Antetokounmpo. And he mentioned the Sixers and how VJ Edgecombe would be involved in the trade to Milwaukee in order to land Giannis Antetokounmpo. And you know what's amazing, John? I don't really think I saw any Sixers fans in favor of it. And this wasn't an overvaluing your rookie or young player.
It makes me happy.
It's just realizing that the old Sixers it didn't work. They didn't win the old Sixers. And you need to start looking at that next step, the next step toward the future. Doesn't mean you can't win right now if everybody stays healthy. And we looked at the state of the Eastern Conference last week. It's not that great. There's no dominant team in the Eastern Conference. So maybe Joel Embiid, Paul George stay healthy, and you can win with the two of them, with Tyrese Maxey being an all-star starter, with your contributions from the young VJ Edgecombe, with the contribution of the role player that's been bouncing around all over the league in Kelly Oubre and some guys off the bench. Maybe you can win something. But for the first time, I don't remember seeing people going, yeah, make that trade.
I love that. That makes me very happy because I'm not I want to see this done right and none of this quick fix crap. And to me, I'm very happy because I think people are getting, not like me, but I'm being more like them. I'm very much enjoying watching young players come together and watch develop. I love watching something different.
Yeah.
And I don't want to watch a bunch of oldsters get trotted in here like guys on the end of their careers coming in here trying to say, let's cut and paste a team together. So to me, that's very promising.
Yeah.
And by the way, I would want no part of Giannis. No part. Because there will be people that will, when that name comes up.
Look, he's still a tremendous player.
No. He's going to be,
he's still a tremendous player.
He gets injured getting up off the recliner. No.
He's still a tremendous player.
No, but that's fine.
But
great talent.
I'm not.
But when he plays, and they can't do it.
Sure.
We already have two guys that can't play.
By the way, I don't know how it would totally work.
We can't have a third.
Money-wise,
they can't.
What happens there?
Yeah,
no, that's if now. Well, here's the thing.
Paul George was in the trade as well.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
here's what you're hearing though. If you watch any of the NBA Live and that Malika Andrews show, there are Western Conference teams that are actually eyeballing Paul George. That Paul George has shown them enough that they're actually looking at it saying, wow, he's showing something. He looks sort of healthy. And so he'll always have an interest. I don't think it's going to be this year, but I think Paul George could potentially be moved in an offseason. If he gives them a good run this year,
sure,
he could potentially be moved down the line. I don't think it'll be this trade deadline. And right now, I don't think I want it. Right now?
No, I want it to be quiet. I said it last week. I want this to be a quiet trade deadline for the Sixers. You want to make a move for a piece, or you got to make some money. You got to move some money around. I get it. Fine. But I want this to be a quiet trade deadline for the Sixers. And it's the first time that I've ever felt comfortable saying that. You know me. I've always been a go after the big name guy, but they needed to turn the page. They had to. And I'm glad that they finally did it. You need older, proven players is no longer, as of right now, the way of winning in the NBA. It just isn't. You're seeing the more youthful teams with obviously veteran pieces a part of it, but the more youthful teams are the ones that are winning. The whole battle-tested thing ended last year when the Thunder won.
And Daryl gets a lot, to me, gets a little tip of the hat, because I think Daryl is adjusting. Because I think he's a little bit quick fix at times.
He absolutely is.
And to me, I've been impressed. I've been very, very impressed. I've enjoyed this Sixers season. I've really enjoyed. I've enjoyed this Flyers season. I had a bad week because that bad week was really crappy. The 29-11 week, you outscored 29-11, and you don't win in 6 games. That was the worst week I've seen them play in a while. But I've really enjoyed the Flyers and Sixers seasons. Have been enjoyable.
It's been a nice winter for those two teams. Not a nice winter period because the Eagles played in it, but for those two and the Phillies offseason has been interesting, and the weather. But it's been nice sitting back and watching the Sixers and Flyers. All right, let's check our text line, 610-632-0975. Our main topic, because the conference championships played out yesterday, back-to-back years where somebody might say, man, the NFC is being led by that quarterback, Jalen Hurts last year, Sam Darnold this year. What are you learning about the NFL? The Patriots averaged 18 points per game to get to the Super Bowl. It's the lowest points per game total in a playoff run in NFL history. So what are we learning about the state of the NFL? If you want to talk about it with other leagues as well, you can at 610-632-0975. And do you want a quiet trade deadline for the Sixers where they're not trying to make the big splash? Or even if they don't get the big splash, there were times where Daryl Morey didn't get the big splash, but his name was mentioned every sentence, right?
Yes.
It was,
yes.
It's like how
he's going to pick up the phone. Making a call, yeah.
I hope the phone's not being picked up. I hope Daryl Morey is enjoying playing whatever online video games that he plays. I know he's very online. He's a big ping pong guy. I hope Daryl Morey's just hanging out right now. I don't need some splashy trade. What do we got on the text line?
I'd like him to be doing a little something, but I understand your point. Spaz checks in, and he goes back to that conversation we were having about the NFL. He says, all season long, when anyone on your station talked about who the Eagles had to worry about in the NFC, it was always the Rams, Detroit, maybe even San Francisco. Everyone all season said, I'm not worried about Sam Darnold and the Seahawks.
Not everybody. No.
Well, generalizing. But where are the Eagles? Where are the Seahawks right now? And what does that make you think about this season looking back?
But you see, that's not true. I kept telling you all along. The Seahawks, I said on this show over and over again, if they had to go to Seattle, the Eagles weren't winning. Over and over. My tune never changed on that.
Here's what it tells you about where the Eagles are at. The Eagles are still very close. If they had a competent offensive coordinator they are not losing in the wild card round of the San Francisco 49ers. The Eagles defense and Seattle Seahawks defense, very on par. Tremendous.
Yes,
but they're on the same page. They're on the same tier, those two defenses. And, the talent on offense, you would say that the Eagles have more talent.
They do.
The Eagles have much more talent. But, man, the coaching was drastically different. And that's what it tells me. I said it last week. The Eagles' run did not die the wild card weekend. The run this year died, but the championship window that we always talk about, it's still open. They just need to make the correct decisions, whereas last year they waited 5 minutes. And then they promoted Kevin Patullo.
I really have right now it's strange, but I have a good feeling that this is going to hopefully go our way. That this is going to go our way with a good hire.
Yeah, I hate to simplify it, but are they one piece away? I know there's other stuff they're going to have to do, but just a competent offensive coordinator.
Yeah, but
there's too many missing pieces on offense.
Is AJ going to be there? What's the status
of Lane Johnson? Is Dallas Goedert going to be there? Lane Johnson.
Take those guys out. I want Dallas Goedert back.
Take the top players out.
Well, for the sake of the argument, guys, how far off are they from who the Seahawks are this year, even with the guys they still have and this defense?
I would say not that far.
I don't think they're that far at all.
See, I do. I do as far as they're not. If those guys are, if you tell me the Eagles' offensive line is going to be healthy next year, they're not. But I believe I have serious concerns about the Eagles' offensive line being healthy. So I think that is a huge issue because I don't know that that's going to be the case.
Sure. All right, you can text in 610-632-0975. Coming up next, today's headlines with Connor Thomas and an update on the snow because I just FaceTimed my wife during the commercial break and a funny story of my dog.
Oh, that's
I'll tell you next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
All right, Dan White and Associates, they don't take days off, man. They get right after it, and they've been in business for almost 4 decades, specializing in retirement and financial planning. And I know this. When people want to have conversations about money, they usually clam up because it's something that stresses a lot of people out. But have you ever stress test your retirement plan? Let's say you're more along the path that I am, and you're getting more time towards that time, and you've never had someone look at it and say, yeah, you're going to have enough money to retire, or you're going to be able to live the lifestyle you want to live. Are you going to be able to get out of this snow and get to a place where it's warmer during the wintertime? They can help you find certainty in your financial future. Or if you're just starting out and you want to know how we're going to be able to pay for college for the kids, or are we going to be able to get that bigger house, they can help you with that too. They host educational seminars throughout Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Maryland. They will feed you. You will go to a nice seminar. You get to just sit there and be a passive listener, and you can find out about what Dan White and Associates can help do for you. Because having a really, really competent person on your side can help. They got offices in Glen Mills, PA, Middletown, Delaware, and Lewis, Delaware, and they offer you that complimentary, no-risk consultation. So the conversation you have can be in private, just you and them, and it's a great conversation that'll help you feel a little peace of mind. Visit danwhiteandassociates.com. Check out danwhiteandassociates.com on the web.
We have today's headlines with Connor Thomas coming up momentarily. Obviously, the big snowstorm that we all talked about last week, all anticipated and got this weekend. It's not over. Like, it's going to be freezing the next week. So the snow...
The storm's over.
No, the storm's over. But, like,
Right.
the snow, it's not done. Like, it's still going to be a mess. Especially today, some roads, back roads will still be a mess. So make sure you're careful.
Just be careful.
Driving around. You know, I was just looking out during the commercial break, looking outside the window, and like.
Did they finally open up some parking spots?
Yes, they did. But
Wow,
the road still does not look pleasant. So just be careful. Take your time. If you don't have to drive into work today, stay home. Now, you still have to let your dog out to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, some do. Yes,
Some do.
Yes, you do.
So I was FaceTiming my wife 2 breaks ago.
Okay.
And my dog had to go to the bathroom for the first time this morning.
Okay.
The snow is not strong enough to keep her from
falling in.
falling through.
How people don't know your dog.
She's a 45-pound pitty mix. So she's not like a giant dog. I guess her back would be around the height of my kneecaps, right? So she kept falling through the snow, the poor dog.
Oh, jeez.
There were some areas where there was enough ice where she could stand on it, and then she'd take another step and she'd fall through. And the poor thing's trying to go to the bathroom.
Now, was it startling her?
Yeah, she would hop around a little bit. I was
Okay, so
watching.
she wasn't like
No,
where it wasn't
she
scared.
loves the snow. Yeah.
Because the screened-in deck that we have in the back, Nikki went out into the totally snow blew in.
And you got a little dog.
Through the screen. She's
Yeah.
little. She is Shih Tzu. Open up the back door. I could see that Christina showed me the paw prints.
Yeah.
Nikki went out in the snow. She goes out. She takes like 3 steps, walks around, and comes right back in the house.
She's like, nah,
She ain't doing this.
I don't need this.
No, not doing it.
My childhood dog, we had a deck out back, and then you'd walk down to the yard. She used to just go on the deck when there was snow. She's like, I'm not going down.
She's like, I'm not doing that, dude.
I'm not going down.
Like,
there.
what are you doing, dude?
All right, it's time.
I am not doing this.
Time now for today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with the Connor Thomas.
Well, what do we got, V?
It's brought to us by Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. So if you're falling through the snow like Salciunas' dog and you need them, remember the name, Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. So, of course, we know the Seahawks have punched their ticket to Santa Clara for Super Bowl 60. And a very important member of their team had a smart comment back in March of 2025 when he left the Dallas Cowboys. DeMarcus Lawrence choosing to leave the Cowboys in favor of the Seattle Seahawks. He had this to say way back in March of 2025.
You know, Dallas is my home. Made my home there. You know, my family lives there. You know, I'm forever going to be there, but I know for sure I'm not going to win a Super Bowl there.
Pretty darn good call by DeMarcus Lawrence.
How did I miss that?
Well, no, we talked about it because Micah Parsons then started ripping him online.
yeah.
And
Now I remember.
Remember, he said, DeMarcus Lawrence said, if you spent less time online,
Okay, I remember it now.
you would take your game to another level. Which, look, Micah Parsons, tremendous player. Nobody's even debating that. But we have talked in the past about Micah Parsons being too online.
Yes.
And that's a guy that was in his locker room. That was I think he was a captain, DeMarcus Lawrence, of the Dallas Cowboys. I might not be right on that one. But
And DeMarcus Lawrence, that's congratulations to him.
yeah.
Great call by him.
I'm not winning there.
And another year without the Cowboys in the big game.
Well, it's 30 years. 30 years for them.
Happy
Unbelievable.
anniversary,
And
Dallas.
today, 34 years for the Commanders/Redskins.
How about that? I saw a Cowboys fan coping.
How's he coping?
All I hear is the last 30 years this, the last 30 years that. Do we not remember that the Eagles, it took them 52 years to win a Super Bowl?
Okay, that's really coping.
And it's like, wow, dude.
Dude, you're really coping.
All right, losers.
You're really reaching.
All right, so did you see what happened in Chicago over the weekend with the Bulls?
No,
If you
what happened?
missed it, well, you
What did
had-
Matas Buzelis did?
not
do?
Matas Buzelis. You could have seen it about 1 billion other times. So Derrick Rose had his number retired and hung in the rafters. That's a great thing for Derrick Rose.
Yes.
Did he have his SAT that someone took for him?
No, he did not.
I didn't know that was. Okay.
But he's had like 15 retirement nights, it feels like. The Bulls have honored him like 30 times over the course of the past 3 seasons.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, it's just like every other month there's a Derrick Rose
he
night.
also bounced around, and so there was always thoughts, is this the last time that he's playing? And then he would play another year, and he bounced around.
So is there a limit for a player like Derrick Rose when you have an organization like Chicago, where you got obviously Jordan, Pippen, Rodman those years, like a guy who clearly injuries derailed his career, but he didn't win there.
And what did he ever win?
Yeah.
I love D Rose. Like I do.
A hell of a player.
At what level is it too much celebration of a guy?
They've reached it. Look, he probably deserves to have his jersey retired, I guess.
Yeah,
to your point, the injuries derailed his career.
I don't know. Jersey retired?
I don't know, especially when you mention the other players.
I don't know. Not when you he doesn't belong with the other jersey retirements.
Yeah, it's just and here's the thing: if they want to retire it, fine. But the fact that they've over-celebrated Derrick Rose, if he was a Washington Wizard, okay, a Charlotte Hornet,
exactly.
get after it. But for the Chicago Bulls, just feels a little weird to me. I wanted to see if you guys felt the same way.
That's overkill, man.
They got to the conference finals one time when Derrick Rose was a member of the Chicago Bulls. He won an MVP.
Like I would say to you now.
2-time MVP. No, 1-time MVP, 1-time Rookie of the Year.
I'll ask you two right now. When LeBron retires, should they retire his Laker jersey?
No,
No.
because he's a Cav. He's a Cav.
They should not retire his
But they
Laker
will.
jersey.
They're going to.
But
He's
they will,
going. No,
'cause he's
he's
LeBron.
going to beg for it. He'll campaign for it. He'll cry for it.
They'll be happy to do it too because
He
they
should-
have LeBron associated with their organization.
He
which
should
they
not.
love.
They should not do that.
You wait for the day we have the Joel Embiid retirement
It's going to
conversation.
happen.
jeez.
We'll round
You
out
wait
with
for
this.
that.
Speaking of
Retire
some-
the jersey?
You wait for that.
Speaking of some of your guys' favorite athletes,
Maybe the training table.
you guys'
Going
boy
to the Hall
won
of
again this weekend.
Scotty Scheffler has done it again. He is now a 20-time winner on the PGA Tour.
So he wins at the Amex. Yes, golf season is going, folks. A couple of cool things from this. First, Scotty is one of 3 guys to ever have 20 PGA Tour victories at 4+ majors before the
How
age
many
of
guys?
30. 3 guys. Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, Scotty Scheffler.
Oh my gosh.
And also, it's not just about Scotty. Did you guys see Blades Brown, the
No.
18-year-old that was
Oh,
playing?
I saw. Oh yeah, I saw.
That sounds like a creative
I didn't
player
see the
name.
end.
Great
of,
name.
How did he fall apart though, Connor? That's what I missed.
He's 18. He didn't play well down the
Was
stretch.
it like his driver fell apart? Did his putting fall apart? Okay.
I was watching
that's what I
football,
didn't know.
man.
I didn't know.
I was zoned in. But the point is, he's an 18-year-old kid. He was stopping to play rock paper scissors with folks in the crowd. Great name on the kid. It's just fun to see the new personalities of sports build up, while also seeing the great ones continue to win.
He's throwing darts at those greens.
He's a monster.
By the way,
he's
you
the
have
greatest
to be
golfer on the planet.
You have to be a diehard golf fan if you're watching tournaments in January. Like diehard. And I know there's
I'll
golf fans
watch
out there.
Scotty Scheffler. I'll watch Scotty Scheffler play any day of the week. And he played the other day, and I told Connor, he played with something that I didn't even know existed. A 69-degree wedge he fiddled around with the other day.
God bless anyone trying to hit that.
And it worked perfectly.
So let me try this.
It's unbelievable.
All right, coming up next, John Kincade is having a football identity crisis.
I don't think so.
2 topics that he sent me via email. The Eagles have messed with his brain. They've messed with a lot of people's brains, so I can't blame them. It's Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Super Bowl 60 is set. I'm Connor Thomas, and this update is brought to you by Barbera's on the Boulevard. New year, new car. Cherokees and more Cherokees. $199 down, $199 a month. Is Barbera the best? Boy, I guess. The Super Bowl is set as the NFC and AFC championship games took place yesterday. It's going to be Seattle facing off against New England. New England going into Denver, winning 10-7 in a blizzard in Colorado. Seattle outlasting the Rams in a shootout, 31-27. And now Sam Darnold and Drake May will face off in Santa Clara for Super Bowl 60. The Eagles' main focus, well, they're trying to figure out who their next offense coordinator is going to be. James Palmer of The Athletic joined Middays with Marks on Friday. He talked about the interesting caveats of the Eagles' offensive coordinator position.
I think it's around the league enough about what you have to do offensively to make this group work. Doesn't mean you can't win a lot of games with them. You certainly can. But I do think when people look at the job, there's a couple things they're curious about, and maybe rightfully so.
We'll keep you updated as the Eagles continue their search for OC. Sixers game in Charlotte has been moved up to 3 p.m. p.m. today. They'll take on the Hornets then. You can hear it live here on the Fanatic due to the inclement weather. You can also listen to the Flyers host the Islanders at 7 p.m. tonight right here on the Fanatic. If you're heading down to that game, make sure you drive carefully. This update is brought to you by Audible as well. And if you're stuck in traffic, take care of you with help from the top voices in well-being on Audible. Sign up for a free trial at audible.com/wellbeing. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Ball Monday, presented to us by our friends at the local Bryant Home Comfort Team. Visit nopaybryant.com to keep your HVAC in the starting lineup. I hope everybody is nestled in, having a nice Monday morning. Hopefully a lot of people are off or at least working remotely with the beauty of technology. Real quick, before we sort of get back to our topics, I just want to pass on some sad news that we got over the weekend. For those of you who really listen to the Fanatic or really listen to some of our sister stations, Rick Mararchi, I don't know if a lot of you remember the name. Rick was an engineer that we had here at the station. He worked in promotions here at the station. I believe he was at one point a Preston and Steve intern, so this goes back years. He passed away, unfortunately, at the end of last week. Somebody that just had health issues from the very beginning, which is a shame, but one of the nicest, kindest, funniest, friendliest people I've ever met. And that's how I will always remember Rick.
That's a wonderful way for somebody to remember you.
No, I'm serious. The nicest guy, and would talk to anybody, company softball games that, when my wife still cared about me, we would, she would come to the, those days where
sure.
the wife would actually come to the company stuff. Then they realize I don't have to do this anymore. He would sit down and talk to Christy like they were 10-year best friends. And, that's just the kind of person that he was. So really sad news at the end of last week. I know a lot of people around the hallways were really bummed out by it. So just wanted to pass that message along.
Great way to be remembered, though.
Yeah, no, he was awesome.
That's a beautiful way to be remembered.
Awesome person. All right, so you sent me your list of topics. When did you do this yesterday? Because you were grading papers.
I
doing whatever
I
you
graded
could.
all my papers in the afternoon. Then I was watching the first half of the Rams.
Okay.
I was watching a little bit of the great offense of that game.
Yeah, which we never got from the Eagles. You sent me 2 topics.
And why do you think I'm having an identity?
No, I just want to talk about it. I don't think you're so off. It's just you're the way you wrote it. I just
Okay.
caught my eye.
Okay.
I feel bad that I didn't feel like the Eagles really deserved to be there. Now you were talking about one of the final 2 teams in the NFC.
Yeah, no, I watched that. I was doing the Rams, and so it was when I was watching the Rams and the Seahawks. And I felt bad that I didn't. I really expected to turn on the game and be like, damn, the Eagles aren't there. Boy, what a wasted opportunity. Oh, man. We should be there today.
We talked about they could have gone to Chicago and gotten a win.
Oh, no.
Against the Bears.
I definitely think they could have, yeah. But they couldn't beat the 49ers at home, so I don't know why.
Who then lost 41-6 the very next week.
But I expected that yesterday was going to be a day of anguish. And it wasn't. And that, to me, made me feel bad. It made me. You were a little bit angry this morning that the Eagles didn't, with the offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
search.
just because I'm glad that they're taking their time, but they made it seem like last year, well, because of the timing of us winning the Super Bowl, we weren't able to do some extensive search for the OC. We are 2 weeks away from the Super Bowl, and the Eagles still have yet to find their OC. So last year was a bunch of bull.
Yeah,
you know what?
I just am looking and going, wow, it's a shame. Like, to me, I expected to be really bummed out yesterday and everything, but I was like, nah, the Eagles sort of got what they deserved.
The other topic you sent was the horrible 2025 playoffs
and season.
And then you were wondering if the regular season was horrible.
Now this is for the whole league. This isn't.
I thought the regular season was fine.
Are you talking about the NFL as a whole? You did?
Yeah.
Denver was a 1 seed. New England was a 2 seed.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I think we saw a change in eras because the Chiefs are obviously they didn't even make the freaking playoffs.
Again, Denver and New England were the 1 and 2 seeds. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but there were some are you talking about quality of play or interesting?
The quality of play in the NFL this year. I think this playoff field was arguably the worst ever. And I think that the playoffs was, in my mind, the worst ever playoffs I've ever seen.
Is it worst ever, or is it just lack of recognition? Is it lack of name recognition?
No, worst ever.
Faces of leagues?
No, just terrible play, quality of play, some bad teams that were in it. I mean, horrible quality of play. I saw divisional weekend was the worst I've ever seen. And I said that when I came in last Monday. I'm like, that's the worst quality of play I've ever seen. It was the most interceptions ever thrown on a divisional play weekend. It was the worst QB rating, whatever that QBR, which is different than
the regular rating.
I get confused with that. But it was the worst rating ever for the quarterbacks combined in a QB. It was terrible play. This week, like yesterday, I watched that AFC title game. That was horrible football. Wow. And to me, the NFL, you're telling me Denver and New England, we played 17 games. And Denver and New England are the best the AFC had to offer?
They were the best defenses pretty much all season long. And they were the last 2 teams in the AFC.
New England played a horse manure schedule, and they were still terrible. Like an offensive team. They were terrible. It was a bad year. That was the worst year of NFL football, and I would challenge anybody to tell me the year that was worse.
I didn't feel that at all.
I don't feel that. Like, I really don't. Like, I was extremely entertained by the league, as always, this year, right? We're in every single Thursday and Saturday when they do play Saturday football, and Sunday and Monday and Black Friday and Wednesdays, like Christmas time. Like, I was extremely entertained. Now, look, I've talked about the poor quarterback stuff for a while now, so that's nothing new coming from me, but you say, oh, man, look at these offenses, but I could also say, man, look at those defenses. And maybe it kind of goes back to our initial topic that we're discussing this morning that you can climb in on at 610-632-0975. What are we learning about the NFL? Right now, we're learning that it's the old defense wins championships discussion. That's what it feels like right now. That's what it feels like we're heading.
I didn't think Seattle's defense was very good yesterday.
No, not yesterday, but they've been good all season long.
Every time they played the Rams, they sucked. Every time they played the Rams, they were horrendous. The Rams went up and down the field like hot knife through butter on them. And to me, I don't know. I look at it as I thought it was the worst year of NFL football that I can remember. And if you're talking quality of play, the fact that that's the 1 and 2 seeds, you can never show me a year where the 1 and 2 seeds are worse. And for an AFC championship game, that was horrendous.
It was bad.
I mean, that's terrible. And even if you're talking about the Carolina Panthers, how bad that was.
Yeah, but that happens often.
The Packers were really bad.
Yeah, but they were ravaged with injuries.
They were.
Right, they were a good football team until the injuries started.
Are you telling me you believe it's more reasons for the bad play?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I don't think the NFL just all of a sudden is not good anymore.
The Eagles won. It's not that. It's just that the NFL. It's just it was a bad year. It's not that the NFL's not good anymore. It was a bad year.
Yeah,
the product had a bad year. The Eagles won the NFC East, and the NFC East was atrocious, absolutely atrocious. And it's like, wow, the Eagles won the NFC East again. Whoop-de-freaking-do.
Yeah, but that's just the East. The NFC West was incredible all year. The NFC South had one of the weirdest tiebreakers of all time.
The NFC South was horrendous.
Sure, but it was entertaining.
The NFC North came down to the wire.
Okay, you can be entertained, but you can say, but that's not the discussion. The discussion is it was bad football. That's my point. It was bad. The NFC South was horrendous. The NFC East was terrible. And the Eagles were the least bad team.
Yeah, it just depends on what your definition of bad football is. To me, if I can turn on a game, if both teams stink, but they play an intriguing game that has all of these entertainment factors to it, even if the quarterback throws 4 picks, if the other guy throws 4 picks, sure, bad football, good game because it's a fun watch. That's all I care about.
Was yesterday a fun AFC game, fun watch?
No, the AFC wasn't, but the NFC game was a very fun watch, I thought.
Were the games I thought the NFC game was great. I was intrigued by that. Previous weekend, did you think those games were good watches?
Denver-Buffalo.
Quality of football, you may say.
Denver-Buffalo was very intriguing.
But I'll say this. So there have been 12
the quality of play was terrible.
There have been 12 playoff games played right now. 8 of them ended in one-score games.
Yeah, but look at the performances.
Sure,
it was horrendous. But
like you're still down to the wire. You can't play. Yesterday we were watching the game yesterday, right in the lobby bar yesterday, and you're talking about the Broncos Patriots, and you kept on saying it. Man, one missed tackle, and the Broncos win the AFC Championship game.
That's how bad it was.
Right, but that's also how intriguing. You can't look away, and I understand the product wasn't beautiful, but I couldn't stop watching.
Those are two different discussions, though. Something can be on the edge of your seat because it's bad, too. The play was terrible. I mean, it was horrendous. It's like, might as well just run the ball because one team can't do anything because it's that bad. And when Bo Nix was their quarterback, Bo Nix couldn't do anything offensively either.
So what does it tell you about the NFL? What are we learning about the league? That goes back to our initial topic at 610-632-0975. You can text it, you can call in. Hope everybody's enjoying their hopeful day at home, day of rest today. We are watching an NFL where the Super Bowl contestant from the NFC is being led by Sam Darnold, who is on his 5th team in his NFL career. 3 years with the Jets where he got mono, the 2 years with Carolina, San Francisco, Minnesota, and now Seattle. What does that tell you about the league that a journeyman is playing Super Bowl Sunday? 610-632-0975. It tells you that, again, defenses are starting to win right now. Now, look, the teams that with Brady and Mahomes, their defenses were good. It's not like they had the 30th ranked defense in the NFL, and Mahomes and Brady were all that great. And they were just so good that they overcame the defensive issues. But it's just showing you right now that having to pay the offense,
It's dangerous.
It's not really the way of winning. It's not the.
It's dangerous.
This is what works,
and we're going to have to do it again because Jalen's coming knocking. You know he's coming knocking for a renegotiation. I would love to hear the conversation of why. What is he going to ask to renegotiate on?
What has he got left on his contract?
The Jalen Hurts contract, I think they have to do
more.
He signed a 5-year extension that keeps him under contract through 2028.
Yes.
So he has 2020 is the 2026, 27, 28 seasons. Now, he's going to come knocking at some point. Now, there could be a thing where maybe Howie comes to him and says, give us a little bit of flexibility. But the Eagles have an out, remember, after 2027. So the Eagles only have him under contract for 2 years, really, because the Eagles built the out in. So it could actually be like a put up or shut up here for Jalen Hurts.
Here's what's really amazing to that point. If you look at his spot track, the breakdown, his cap hit was backloaded. So this year, he'll have a $31.9 million cap hit, the 2026 season. That's up $10 million from last year, which is up $18 million from 2 years ago.
Now, the cap is also going to probably go up to cover more than cover that.
Next year, the 2027 season,
is it another 10?
His cap hit is $42 million.
Great cash, homie.
And his cap hit in 2028, if we do get to that point, is $47.5 million.
Well, that'll never happen. That won't ever happen. But still, though, it's a cautionary tale. He's coming knocking. I would think, knowing that he only has 2 years here where he's legitimately under contract, even though the contract runs 3, the Eagles can get out after 2. My guess is Jalen's going to be calling. We're going to be talking about this offseason.
That's going to be interesting. Him and Bryce Harper both going to be asking for contract extensions.
I don't think the Eagles are going to be very excited to do it.
No, I don't think so either. MBD on our YouTube chat, of course. MBD on our YouTube chat, his takeaway from the league. It's an interesting one. There's probably 12 teams who are like 3 moves away from playing in yesterday's games.
That's interesting.
I mean, look, we talked about it before.
MBD's really smart.
Hell yeah, he should probably do this for a living. Our takeaway going into the playoffs was that it was wide open. Look, I was down the dumps with the Eagles. Game was 0% chance. Even I couldn't help but look at the field and go, all right, if matchups go their way, they could play in an NFC title game. If they avoided the Rams, like that was my biggest thing, was avoided the Rams at all costs. And they were going to avoid the Rams. If they beat the 49ers, they're going
to Chicago.
They're going to Chicago. And then the Rams are playing the Seahawks in the divisional round of the playoffs, and you saw how those two teams played yesterday. You never know what could have ended up happening.
You don't believe the Eagles are beating Seattle in Seattle?
No, I don't.
I don't believe the Eagles are beating Chicago in Chicago.
Yeah, I don't believe they would have.
No, but it goes back to what MBD's saying. Like, if the Eagles had a competent offensive coordinator,
right,
and I don't know, you want to give another a healthy offense, a healthier offensive line.
Oh, a healthier offensive line. They're playing divisional playoff weekend.
Right. Like, that's how
is.
close they are. And this is a team that I thought had 0% chance of getting to a Super Bowl. It really is amazing. And there's teams like Detroit. Who knows if they're back next year? They still have a lot of talent. They're making a lot of changes to their coaching staff.
My guess is people are going to sleep on Detroit. And they could be right back.
They could be right back.
Who knows?
Tampa Bay, if they don't fall apart. It really is amazing, the state of the NFL right now. And that's what we're trying to figure out, what we learned this weekend at 610-632-0975. Nick on our YouTube chat. Andrew, you gave Sam Darnold no credit, just saying he's a journeyman on his 5th team, blah, blah, blah. He's playing good ball and has for 2 years now. Could just be he was with putrid franchises. He's still a journeyman, though. That's like
no, he's a journeyman. Is not.
He's on his 5th team.
A journeyman is a guy who the definition is bounces around. That's what he is. Connor is the one who tried to throw shade his way again today, who is needs to retract.
No, I will not retract. I will not yield, sir.
You do
Sam
need
Darnold
to yield.
getting carried.
But he's a journeyman. Like,
no, he's not being carried.
I know he's not.
This is his 5th team in 8 seasons. That is the definition of a journeyman quarterback.
He is a perfect example of get him with right coaches, right opportunity. He can do the job and he can do it well.
And it makes you think how many guys are out there like that.
Yes.
Right? Like
yes.
Mike McDaniel. Was it Tua or was it McDaniel? So Mike McDaniel's going to
Not Tua.
Mike McDaniel's going to go somewhere. Is it the Chargers? Do we know yet? Because I know he's changing his mind every 5 seconds.
Well, no, he won't. He didn't. He told Buffalo Pound Sand.
Right. But I know
when he reportedly found out that the person he was going to be the boss of was going to be interviewing him.
But I know the Raiders have popped up too. Well, let's say Mike McDaniel goes to the Chargers, and they're horrible. Is it Justin Herbert or is it Mike McDaniel?
We already know Justin Herbert's pretty bad.
He comes up small in the playoffs. What if Tua gets a different coach and plays well?
I'll bet against that one.
I'll bet against that one.
I don't believe in Tua.
Yeah, I'll
you
bet
know
against that one, too.
But what you're saying is you put guys in the right
Right.
Like
Caleb Williams is a great example in Chicago this year.
Yeah,
he gets Ben Johnson, and all of a sudden he goes from the why was this guy drafted where he was to very close.
But
to
then
the
people are going to
championship
say,
game.
"Is Caleb Williams a product of Ben Johnson?"
Well, no,
it's
he
amazing.
is. Well, he is part of it. But remember too with the Caleb Williams story, they were fighting.
Yeah, early
in
on.
minicamp. They were fighting in the early summer because Caleb Williams was not wanting to do what he told him to do. And he said, I'm the boss. I'm here. You're going to do things the way I want you to do them.
So
and they butted heads. And he finally listened. And they have a beautiful relationship now. And he thinks, oh, wow, this guy knows what he's doing, and now we're winning.
Here's the thing in all this, right? So we're seeing it, and we've been flipping from one side to the other of like how close you could be, but also where the margin for error is. I think last year kind of screwed up our brains a little bit with how dominant that Eagles team was. They essentially walked to the Super Bowl, and it wasn't because they didn't play good teams. It was because they did everything well.
It was because and their ground game was so good, and that was the point that I kept hitting this year. Like I could always hold my hat that the ground game was going to come through.
Yeah,
if
we knew it.
Yeah, and they didn't have it all year, and that's why I didn't believe that they were all of a sudden going to figure something out, offensively in the playoffs when they didn't have that ground game. But to your point, if you have something that you can like really hold on to, like Seattle has the defense that they can. Even if Sam Darnold throws for 180 yards in the Super Bowl, which by the way he might. New England's defense is really good. The winning quarterback may not throw for 200 yards in the Super Bowl.
I'll take the under on that. But the thing is, like, if you look at it from the Eagles' perspective, you can say, hey,
that's amazing.
A move here, a move there. Who knows where they are? NFC Championship game, Super Bowl, like different. Maybe it's just the offensive coordinator. But if you're on the positive side looking back, you get one thing wrong, and the margin for error is still way slimmer than I think we gave it credit for coming off a Super Bowl year.
Sure, because they were right there.
Like I'm already hearing people give me right now, and I would gladly take the wagers. Giants are winning the NFC East next year, and I want to insert the laugh track. I have every confidence the Eagles are going to be right back winning their division. Every confidence.
Yeah. I'd slow down until we see the OC higher.
No, because I'm looking at the other three teams that are trying to beat them. And I don't see either of those three teams. Now, Dallas is the one that scares me now that Christian Parker's there. If someone says to me, Dallas is the team that comes up and potentially beats them, they're the ones I'm going to have my eyeballs on. The Giants are not jumping from that to that just because John Harbaugh's there. Again, John Harbaugh, he's going to bring stability. He's going to build something and everything like that. But he's also going to be cleaning a lot of house.
Yeah.
Trying to build in his... bring in his right guys.
Yeah, he has to build something first.
Exactly.
All right.
And it's going to take some time.
Coming up next, I have a question about our feelings, John. I know you love having feelings discussions.
Let's talk about our feelings.
Do we still get any sort of reaction from big nights from the big man?
Oh.
Curious where people come in on this. It's Kincade and Salciunas on this Football Monday, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
May versus Arnold. I'm Connor Thomas, and who saw that coming when the NFL season got going? The Super Bowl set. NFC and AFC championship games took place yesterday, and on the AFC side, it was Drake May and the New England Patriots going into Denver, winning 10-7 in snowy conditions, punching their ticket to Santa Clara. Seattle also got their flights booked just a little bit south of where they're at there. They're heading down after beating the Rams in a shootout, 31-27. Now Drake May and Sam Darnold facing off in Super Bowl 60. That's why they play the games, folks, because you never know what's going to happen in the NFL. We still don't know what's going to happen with the Eagles' offensive coordinator position. James Palmer, the Athletic, joined Middays with Marks recently. He talked about, all of the different features and factors in the head coaching or the offense coordinator search.
I think when these guys are looking at the situation and the quarterback situation, they are going, can I run exactly what I want to run? I just think there is an aspect of the offense, and it's still Nick's offense, and there's some things that might hold you back from doing the stuff that you want to do.
We'll keep you updated as that searching continues. The Sixers game in Charlotte is moving up to 3 p.m. today, so you can hear that game live here on the Fanatic. Inclement weather forcing that to move up. You can also listen to the Flyers host the Islanders 7 p.m. tonight right here on the Fanatic. If you're heading down to that game, driving down to the Exmo, be careful. Roads are still icy out there. Dairy Queen brings you this update. The new spicy menu at DQ has opposites attracting. Spicy flamethrower chicken strips now served with a dip of sweet DQ soft serve. Sounds wrong, but tastes so right. The new spicy menu at DQ at participating locations. I'm Connor Thomas for 97.5 The Fanatic.
comes in many forms. Kincade Salciunas is back from the break. I wonder what they're going to get into.
Thank you, Ray Dunn. It's great to hang out with Ray at the hotel yesterday. Ray had his door unlocked for anybody that wanted to come in and say hi. And I respect that move by Ray Dunn. Ray was down the hall from me in the in the hotel.
Did that mean anybody, or did it just mean people that he knew?
Oh, people that I
okay.
don't think he wants some random stranger walking in.
Well, I mean, you didn't make that clear. I just want to make sure.
Or maybe, I don't know. Maybe Ray Dunn did want a stranger. I don't know.
Connor did that. Was that made clear?
I'm going to plead the fifth.
I'm not entirely sure. All right, before we get to this Embiid thing, our YouTube chat, I appreciate people chiming in on YouTube today, especially today. You're home, you're comfortable, you're comfy. Oh, most of you are home. I know some people still have to work. Hello, we're here. Nick was the one that chimed in earlier saying that I disrespected Sam Darnold by calling him a journeyman. And so we then talked about it, and he responded saying, thanks for the comment. I more mean when you said, look at the quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. You have a journeyman quarterback. Yes, Sam Darnold is a journeyman. He has played for 5 teams in 8 seasons. That to me,
that is
a journeyman.
That's the definition of journeyman. Means you journey around. You don't stick anywhere.
Now, this is where it gets interesting because a lot of people agree with Nick that me calling him a journeyman is disrespectful. And you know what this is? This is what we talked about last year. People hear the word game manager and they think it's disrespectful. How many times did I have to say, let me preface it by saying this isn't a bad thing when it came to Jalen Hurts last year?
Oh, no, you were.
I had to say it because if I called Jalen Hurts just straight up a game manager,
yes,
people freak out.
They do.
Because those are terms that have been used negatively in the past. Oh, he doesn't do anything. He's just a game manager. I look at game manager as a positive. I don't want my guy throwing 4 picks. C.J. Stroud is by far not a game manager, right? Throwing 4 interceptions.
The playoffs you saw to Josh Allen.
Right, exactly. Not a game manager.
No.
Hero ball, people think about that as oh, man, he's a hero out there.
No,
but sometimes they make bad decisions.
It's the Brett Favre syndrome.
So our YouTube is saying that I disrespected Sam Darnold by calling him a journeyman.
No,
I'm just saying what is letter of the law.
Journeyman is fact what he is.
Jets, Panthers, Niners, Vikings, Seahawks. 5 teams, 9 years.
He's never stuck anywhere.
No.
That's a journeyman.
That makes him a journeyman. Now, here's one thing that I'm curious.
Now, Connor is the one who disrespects him.
Yeah.
I will continue to.
So
ridiculous.
Nick continued in his comment.
Minnesota looks so stupid.
I did not say it for this reason. I wanted to further it. He said, yeah, he is a journeyman, but he's playing good football, so who cares? He's arguably top 7, top 8 quarterback in the NFL.
Oh, no, stop it. He's not.
Sam Darnold is not a top 8 quarterback in the NFL.
No, he's not.
He's not.
No.
That's what makes our what is the NFL telling us conversation really interesting because you, Nick, see Sam Darnold as a top 8 quarterback in the NFL.
He's not.
The 3 of us collectively say, no way, dude. He is not a top 8 quarterback.
No.
Now, that does not mean I'm not trying to disrespect him.
That doesn't mean he's
playing
sucks.
well.
Right,
he played great yesterday, throwing for 364 yards, 3 touchdowns. Had a great game yesterday. But I don't have to sit here and say just because he played well yesterday and is in the Super Bowl that he's a top 8 quarterback.
No. He is not. But that doesn't mean that he's not a fantastic quarterback. I promise you, if there was an NFL draft and you had all the coaches and GMs from each team were sitting in a room and they had the 32 NFL starting quarterbacks and they said, let's start taking them off the board. You have to win the 2026 season. You're picking quarterbacks. He is not going in the first 8 picks.
No.
There's not a chance. There's not okay, let's just do the little exercise. These are sort of crazy. Matt Stafford, he's not going ahead of. He is not going ahead of Stafford in any way, shape, or form. He's not going ahead of Trevor Lawrence. He is not going ahead of whether we like it or not, he's not going ahead of Justin Herbert. And I think it's ridiculous. He's not going ahead of Josh Allen. He's not going ahead of Patrick Mahomes. He's not going to go ahead of Jordan Love, which I think is stupid. He is not going – I don't believe he's going to go ahead of Jalen Hurts. I don't believe he would be there. He's not going ahead of Lamar Jackson. He's not – I mean, there's so many quarterbacks. He could just start rattling them all off. He's good, but you want to say 12, 13? Sure.
He's not top 8. I can say
he's
that
not going in the 8
comfortably.
Picks. No, he's not.
I looked up and look. So people that are trying to spike it for whatever reason, I have no idea what football you're spiking right now. I looked up the Jeremy Fowler executive list from before the season. Remember that was a big talking point because
sure.
Hurts came in at number 9 and people were upset with it. Darnold not in the top 10.
Where was he?
Not an honorable mention, which was C.J. Stroud and Jordan Love. So let's just say they were 11 and 12. And then there was the also receiving votes quarterbacks. Kyler Murray, Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers, Tua Tagovailoa, and Bo Nix. That's 18 quarterbacks. Sam Darnold's name does not pop up.
Sam Darnold is not getting taken ahead of Dak Prescott. Sam Darnold is not being taken ahead of Bo Nix.
But what makes this conversation interesting, because I'm not trying
I'm not saying that Bo Nix is great
to smack Sam Darnold down.
No.
You can if you want.
No, I'm not doing that because that's your role. I'm just telling you that the NFL is showing you right now that you don't need a top 5 quarterback, top 10 quarterback in order to win right now. To get to the Super Bowl, you don't need one. As long as you have a great defense and a great ground game, because we have gone away from the throw the ball 50 times NFL. That happened. That was 10 years ago, 5 years ago. It's not the way the league works anymore.
Not the way it goes.
That's the point I'm trying to get. I'm not trying to diminish Sam Darnold, but he's not a top 8 quarterback, and that's okay for Seattle.
Yeah, for a decade, I would have made the argument that you have to be a top 5 or 6 guy to have any chance of winning a Super Bowl, right? Unless something wild Nick Foles happens, which is once in a generation, that is the archetype. That's the blueprint, and it doesn't exist anymore.
No. I mean, it could.
It could come back to it,
but
and those guys can still win, but
it's not right now.
It's not the requirement.
Right. And good teams, the strongest hot take of all time that I said earlier this show, good teams win football games.
Yes, that's real. You were outlandish.
I mean, look at Josh Allen. You could make the case was the best quarterback in the playoff field, right? Like when it first started, wild card weekend, was Josh Allen the best quarterback playing in the playoff field? I think the answer we all agree was yes. Matthew Stafford, second.
Yeah, I would go there.
And I'm not talking about resume because Aaron Rodgers, obviously resume-wise, he's going to the Hall of Fame, but nobody was looking at Aaron Rodgers as like a top 3 quarterback in the playoff field. But his team wasn't that great, and that's why they lost. And he himself lost them that football game because of mistakes that he made. All right, Embiid discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone still get the same warm and fuzzy feelings after big games from Embiid?
The Embiid cult does.
Well, I don't even know how much of a cult there is left, if I'm being honest.
Oh, I think there is. Yeah, but we have a different timeline.
Sure, that's true, too.
There absolutely still is.
So, games ago against the Rockets.
And by the way, I'm sort of happy for them because he's really entertained me this year. And I've been proud of him, and I've been very complimentary because I think he's put in the work. And I think he's kicked some ass this year. I think it's been really impressive, and to me, it's been worthy of It's been worthy of praise.
4 straight games now with at least 30 points. The Rockets game, he had the triple-double. And in this past game against the Knicks, where they fight back and Tyrese Maxey makes a decision at the end because he thought he got fouled and just chucked up a shot from like half court, and they lose. And Embiid drops 38 and grabs 11 rebounds. And he had the dunk, another dunk where you go, wow, the legs still work. It's like the second dunk in like 2 weeks where you're going, okay, Joel Embiid can still move a little bit. But I'm just curious if many people still get that reaction to a good game from Joel Embiid.
I was at a cocktail event on Friday night, and a gentleman said to me, he goes, why was Ray Dunn bragging about Embiid dunking? And I said, well, it sort of shows you that he's getting his body back. I guess I guess I hadn't heard it on the air.
Sure.
He was bragging about Embiid dunking. I didn't think that's that big a deal, but he's a big fan of Ray. And he goes, but Ray was like, he's bragging on your station about Embiid dunking. What's the big deal about that? He better dunk. And I'm like, well, it means his athleticism's coming back. I didn't hear the context that Ray was bragging about him dunking. But there's any context. I've been so impressed by Embiid. I'm like, look, I am holding my breath, clapping for it, and saying, Is there any way that in April we're talking about Embiid being healthy? There? That's all I'm saying. Could this happen?
But on this question, like I don't think that exists for people anymore. The large majority of people, for a lot of reasons. Like one, he's never going to be in contention for end of season awards like he was in his MVP window. Partially because of the new rule, how many games you have to play, but also because of just where he's at health-wise in his career. He's never going to put these numbers up consistently enough because they're trying to keep him healthy. Also, none of this matters. That's always been a thing once the postseason failures overrid the success in the regular season.
Right.
And finally, he's not the focal point. Like, if Maxey didn't exist and we got this stretch from Embiid, absolutely people would be right back in on that who believed in Embiid before. But because you have another high-caliber player on the team that takes the focus off of him, you know what this feels like? And this is going to be disrespectful, but understand the point I'm trying to make. This feels like the Shake Milton goes and drops 60 against the Clippers on a random Tuesday night. Like, it's cool to see, but ultimately the ceiling of the team's going to be determined by health and by Maxey.
Well, yeah, and that's why I wonder, like, do people still feel it? Because, like, the next game, Embiid could tweak something, and we're all going to be like, oh, yep, there we go.
You know why I sort of feel it, though, is, and it's going to seem stupid, because it doesn't really mean anything except to speak to the character of the person. But to me, when I watch the games and they show Joel and they show him so engaged in the performance of the team and his teammates.
I love it.
Well, to me, it tells me all I need to know about the character of the man as a teammate and as a professional.
Game one, when Edgecombe had the big night. Remember,
Well,
he was the first one smiling ear to ear.
Yeah, I'm just talking about these random games as they come on, and it's like Kate and Al are like, okay, timeout here at the, and they're showing, and you see Joel greeting someone coming off of a play. He's been on the bench. He's greeting someone. He's
John,
like the
all
first
nights when he
person
doesn't
meeting
play.
them. Right.
Even when he's
there.
in street clothes, he's out there.
He's talking. He's engaged. He's there. And to me, it speaks to his. He's there. He's feeling it.
D Flyers on our YouTube chat. Embiid looks quick at times. I literally thought I would never see it again.
And look, let's just hope it sticks. Let's hope it sticks.
Oh, let's hope. So
Yes.
I wonder, do you still get like that reaction of, wow, what a great night by Joel Embiid? I'm curious if that's still those feelings.
I hold my breath.
Still hit.
I just hold my breath.
610-632-0975. All right, coming up next, a history lesson on the NFL where John and Connor get to compete one-on-one. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
You know, if you are looking to get engaged this Valentine's Day, don't let the potential bad weather screw you up. Guys, get after this task right now and get into Benari Jewelers. Benari Jewelers in Exton and Newtown Square. Now through February the 7th, they've got a fantastic decision going on. It's Benari's annual bridal bash. And why I say it's a fantastic decision, they set this up for you. So you get 12 months financing on engagement rings and wedding bands, and something really, really exciting. It's your chance to win $1,000. Benari is the area's diamond experts. And more importantly, their team is going to take you through the entire diamond buying process. They're going to educate you on it. I took Brendan Gunn there so he could not only pick the diamond out, but he could design the ring. I brought him, introduced him, and then stayed out of the process. He's getting out like the little monocle thing, picking the diamond for his lady, designing the ring, and it all went from there because they've got the best designers. They have the best stuff that you could ever imagine. And whether she's looking for rose, white, yellow, gold, or, of course, platinum, during Benari's Bridal Bash, they're going to make sure you save the most, and you got 1 year to finance it based on approval because the Bridal Bash is there through February the 7th at their two great locations, Exton and Newtown Square. You're going to love these folks. It's Benari Jewelers. Check out BenariJewelers.com.
It is 8:48 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, we can get educated while also playing a game.
Okay.
How about that? That's one of my favorite ways of getting educated is at least playing something in the long run because I don't really like education all that much anyway. All right, Mike Vrabel joins a list of coaches. Very rare list of coaches. First year coaching a team going to the Super Bowl. Can you name the other coaches that were able to accomplish that?
First year with their team?
Yes.
John Gruden.
Correct.
I have no shot on any of these.
Tampa Bay. There's a couple somewhat recent ones.
The coach in Arizona. Georgia Tech. I'm drawing a blank in his name. Went up against the Steelers, I believe.
No.
No? Okay. Year one went to the Super Bowl.
I'm awful with this stuff. Like, I don't remember this remotely.
Well, then
So,
John wins.
John wins by default.
1-0.
Well, yeah, I'm just trying to think if there's any other examples that I can think of.
How about Don McCafferty back in 1970?
Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah, I don't remember. Don't remember kindergarten well.
How about Red Miller with the Broncos in 1977?
Of course.
What? Yeah, I don't remember that well either.
George Seifert with the Niners,
Yeah, he
1989.
He took over.
You mentioned Gruden.
Yeah.
Who'd they play?
The Raiders.
Bill Callahan, first year.
That's another one, too.
Head coach, goes to the Super Bowl. But there were two more recent ones just before Vrabel. Jim Caldwell with the Colts.
Wow, yeah, they lost
in
to the Bears.
2009.
Lost to the Bears, right?
And who is the offensive coordinator of the Seattle Seahawks?
Wait a minute, did they lose to the Bears, or is that the one that lost to the? I can't remember.
Let me see for you for a second. 2009 Super Bowl.
No, because they won that one. That was the one Tony won. So who did they lose to? They lost to. Is that the Denver loss? The Denver Super Bowl they lost. I don't even remember.
Maybe, but it might have been Denver.
Might have been
But
Denver.
the one other one is a Gary Kubiak.
Yes, Gary
Very
Kubiak
good.
in 2015
I only knew because Clint Kubiak.
with the Denver Broncos.
And they fired him like soon after.
Yes. Now Vrabel, another rare category.
Coaching for his own team.
Yes. Can you name me the people that played for the team and then later coached them to a Super Bowl?
Nope.
You are. There's no way you say nope.
Doug Peterson.
Thank you. Yeah, Dougie P played for the Eagles and coached them to a Super Bowl. There have been a couple others.
Wow.
Ditka.
Yeah, Bears.
Now
There
that's
you go.
you
the
know,
Bears.
Yeah.
It's a long time ago.
The
Ditka being
Bears.
one of them. Kubiak again. Not only did Gary Kubiak take the Broncos to the Super
Yeah, he
Bowl in
was a
his first
quarterback
year,
for them.
he also played for them.
Yeah, he was back.
So
He backed up Elway.
He and
if I'm not
Vrabel
mistaken.
double dipped, where year one took the team to the Super Bowl and also played for that organization.
You don't double dip.
How about that? Look at that. Education. All right, what do we got on the text line there, Connor, at 610-632-0975?
All right, so we have a check-in here. Mo from Horsham wants to check in on the conversation about the NFL in general. Says, I'm with John. This year was just gross. There was no absolute dominance from any team. Who on earth had Darnold versus Stidham in the it should be Darnold versus May. He said Stidham here. In the Super Bowl, the league is going to be shook up, and it needs to be. This year looked like we were watching glorified Maction.
Well,
I don't know if I'd say that.
yeah, I feel like that's a little too harsh, but it goes back to what John was saying, that this season you're wondering just how great this season was.
It was terrible.
But again, is it because of name recognition? So he's saying, look at the quarterbacks that are playing. I could say, look at the defenses that are playing. Or look at the ground games that are playing. Right? Like Travion Henderson had a stretch this year where he was like one of the best backs in football, and Seattle's been consistent all year with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet.
Now, you know what you're talking about with like the Seattle coach? When people were talking about Mike McDonald and being like walking around? You could walk around NFL stadiums and say, who's this? Who's this?
And they wouldn't know.
They couldn't tell you Travion Henderson.
Oh, sure. I got
Nobody
you.
could tell you who he is. So, I mean, like, I get you're saying, like, he had amazing. People couldn't even tell you who he is. Like, couldn't even give you an idea.
Does
about
that
who he is.
matter to people ultimately?
Well, if you're talking about it being this great thing that people are watching and they're so excited by. I mean, like the AFC North was a bonfire of bad.
Yeah.
The Houston Texans, how did they win 12 games with that? C.J. Stroud's terrible.
Yeah, he's really bad.
Well, they won like 3 of them with Davis Mills.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it did.
That's
the neck.
true.
The neck.
Yeah, the neck.
My wife and daughter both impressed with the neck of Davis Mills. Big neck, dude. I mean, there's just such bad teams. Like, it was a bad year. It's a really bad year. The NFC South was just abysmal.
I wonder. I mean, look, I think everyone, a lot of people feel this way, that marketability matters for people. It goes back to last year's NBA Finals. There were people that were out because it was a team from Oklahoma City and the Indiana Pacers, right? Like, there were people that were out. I remember having that discussion here. I did the ESPN stuff too. Like, there were people that were just like, yeah, I don't care because of the team.
It really didn't move the needle a lot, did it?
But it was great basketball, so why should it matter? Now, to your point, you're looking at the teams and you don't necessarily think it's been great football. So you got like the double whammy right now.
And the NFL always matters because the NFL is the monster.
Super Bowl's still going to be the number one most watched event.
It's going to be big. And people are going to whine about the halftime show.
Yeah.
And don't watch. If you don't like it, don't watch. I'll need to hear about it.
I'm excited. Bad Bonnie.
I mean, like, seriously.
I wonder how many people care about the marketability of teams or quarterbacks. I don't care. Just give me a good game. Now, to your point, the AFC Championship game wasn't
It was horrendous.
that great.
That great. It was terrible.
What
that is
did
the
we
worst
learn?
I can ever remember.
What did we learn about the NFL this year? 610-632-0975. We'll check our text line. Coming up next. Also, last week we reacted so much to what Dave Dombrowski had to say during his press conference. We do remember that JT Realmuto spoke that same day, right? I want to play 2 clips just to kind of get John's reaction. Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Big game ready. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Super Bowl is set as the NFC and AFC Championship games took place yesterday. On the AFC side, it was New England taking down Denver 10-7 in a blizzard in Colorado. And in Seattle, the Seahawks outlasted the Rams in a shootout 31-27. Now in 2 weeks, it's going to be Sam Darnold taking on Drake May down in Santa Clara for Super Bowl 60. Who saw that coming? The Eagles, they're still working on finding their next offensive coordinator. James Palmer of The Athletic joined Middays with Marks recently, and he talked about the caveats that are associated with the Eagles' offensive coordinator position.
I think it's around the league enough about what you have to do offensively to make this group work. Doesn't mean you can't win a lot of games with them. You certainly can. But I do think when people look at the job, there's a couple things they're curious about, and maybe rightfully so.
We'll keep you updated as the Eagles continue to conduct interviews and try and find their next guy. Sixers, they made a change today to the schedule, that is. They're going to be in Charlotte taking on the Hornets, but the game moved up to 3 p.m. due to the inclement weather. You can hear that game live here on The Fanatic. You can also listen to the Flyers host the Islanders at 7 p.m. tonight right here on 97.5. If you're heading down to the Xfinity Mobile Arena, just make sure you get down there carefully. Road's still rough with the winter storm. This update is brought to you by Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Saturday, February 7th, it's Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship at Xfinity Mobile Arena with Knucklemania 6 featuring a heavyweight title fight, plus Conor McGregor and many more. Tickets at bkfc.com. I'm Connor Thomas for the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic. More of Kincade Salciunas right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
It is.
Earlier today on Kincade and Salciunas.
Did you learn anything this year from watching the NFL, from watching the playoffs, to watching this past weekend about ways to win in football, and if there is any sort of clear-cut formula right now in today's NFL?
You need to be able to get a pass rush. You need to be able to get a consistent pass rush, I believe. And I think that most times the Eagles can do a pretty good job of that. I would say you don't have to have great quarterback play. Not this year. Not this year, you don't.
And that's one of the things that I thought of.
Which is strange, though, because people would think, and by the way, I would be one of those people, so I'm not pointing any fingers at anybody else, that you would have to absolutely have really good quarterback play.
Think about this for a second. And I'm saying this as carefully as possible because there's people that freak out.
Okay.
You know, I have my opinions about Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts is better than Sam Darnold. Let me make that clear. But here in this city and on the outside, there's people that don't think Jalen Hurts is good. There's going to be people that are going to sit down the day after the Super Bowl. If Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl, if the Seahawks win the Super Bowl, which they very well could with that defense, somebody might sit down and go, oh my God, I just watched 2 Super Bowls with 2 mediocre quarterbacks winning. Somebody would sit there and go, oh my God, the days of Brady and Mahomes, they're over. Because now it's Jalen Hurts and Sam Darnold in back-to-back years.
Now back to the show.
All right. So that's been our topic today. What have we learned about the NFL this season and these playoffs? Because we got into a random conversation about where Sam Darnold ranks among quarterbacks, and we're not trying to do it to diminish Sam Darnold.
No.
It's just, all right, how are teams constructed that are going to be successful in football? The one that people point to the most, and I point to it the most, is winning with the quarterback on a rookie deal, right? Before you pay the quarterback the big money, you got to try to win early, because once you pay the quarterback, all those other players that you fall in love with, you can't afford them anymore, and they get sent the door because the quarterback will be the guy that ultimately the teams will continue to try to build around and build off of moving forward. So can you win on a rookie deal? But we're seeing now with the team that is representing the NFC in the Super Bowl that you could win with, I will say it again, journeyman quarterback, because the guy's played for 5 different teams in 9 years. I still don't understand why that was such a crazy thing to say. He is a guy that's not getting paid top dollar. He got a decent contract.
He got a decent contract.
But it was a 3-year deal. Like, he didn't get one of these 5-year, $265 million contracts that Jalen has and that other top quarterbacks in the NFL have, that Brock Purdy got, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, Tua Tagovailoa. He's not getting $60 million a year like Dak Prescott got a couple of years ago. And yet they got to the Super Bowl because they had a team that was already kind of in play. That defense, the Seattle defense, was already good. They then just added a quarterback that can do enough for them. So what are we learning about the NFL right now? We're seeing that you don't need a top 5, top 7 quarterback in order to win.
You don't, but you need all those other things to go well, and that's one of the things where I feel really good about where the Birds are.
I agree with you.
Because they already have the front office that can make sure that they get there. So they can
and they have the bones already here. Like,
right.
The Eagles still have talent, man. They do. They need to hire a competent offensive coordinator. And one of our first texters today was from our man, Coach Mike, who said, I learned that coordinators really freaking matter in these playoffs. And competent coaching matters. And good decisions by coaching. And again, the Denver Broncos could probably be playing in the Super Bowl if Sean Payton takes the points early on.
Yes. I had a gentleman saying to me I answered him during the break. The models, because Paulie from Dan Patrick's show and I were talking earlier about the whole idea of taking the points. And he goes, the models to take, be aggressive and to go for it, those models are based on tens of thousands of previous instances. And field goals lose games too. And I said, the models do not take into account who's the quarterback that day. What are the weather conditions? This year, are you a team winning with defense? So those models are great. They're fine to look at. But common sense must be the implementer.
Yeah, I don't understand.
You got to use common sense. Don't sit there and go, well, my spreadsheet says you go for it on 4th down. 58% of the time it says to go for it. Yeah, well, What if you have your backup quarterback playing?
That's the thing. Like
Throw the model out.
I could do a 4-hour show on
Throw it
analytics,
out.
like we all can, right? Like going to the Phillies in the playoffs last year. I don't think it was the worst idea to try to bunt a runner over to third. But did the analytics take into account that Nick Castellanos runs like he's got a refrigerator on his back? No, the analytics does not take that into account. The NBA analytics will tell you, and this is deep analytics, 3 points is more than 2, right? So shoot a lot of threes because if they go in, you're scoring more points than if you would be in the mid-range or attacking the basket. But what happens if you don't have a good 3-point shooting team? It's weird how numbers always tell the story of this is what you're supposed to do, and yet you don't factor in what you have. Going for it on 4th and 1 on your own home field with Jared Stidham at quarterback is stupid.
And the play call was stupid. The play call was really, really dumb.
Yeah, because he had him throw.
Oh, my God.
It wasn't even let's run the football. It was let's drop him back to pass.
It just is just too much.
But again, to your point, the spreadsheet tells you to go for it. And I don't get that. That was my issue with the Eagles a lot this year with some of the decisions that they made.
But
they didn't take into account that the offense sucked all year.
It's great to have analytics. It's great to have. There are people who do this with finances too. That go, well, it says in this market you're supposed to buy this. There are other factors that you got to look at all times. You can't just go by. You got to go by common sense. Must be implemented. You can't just say, well, historically, I'm supposed to do this every time. No, you're not. You have to look and say, well, most of the time, maybe. Let's look at it.
I hear you.
Yesterday was not the day to do it.
All right, you can text in at 610-632-0975. What have we learned from the NFL this season, whether it's the regular season, the playoffs, the conference championship games that took place yesterday? And no, if the Eagles were playing yesterday, there was no shot they were going to beat any of those NFC teams. I don't think they would have beaten the Rams.
Oh, I think they beat the Rams here. Yeah, I don't think the Rams were beating. The Rams would have come to Philadelphia. The Rams aren't beating the Eagles in Philly.
The Rams would have put up points.
Yeah, the Rams were winning that game.
Rams have not beaten the Eagles in Philly. Like, the Rams don't beat the Eagles ever, for one thing, so I don't know where that comes from. And the Rams also, too, remember, they were giving up, and much what their defense is, from Thanksgiving on, they were giving up 33 points a game.
You're doing the exact analytics thing we just talked about.
No, they were giving up to everybody. So even if the Eagles scored 24, 26 in a game, the Rams were terrible defensively.
But they weren't going to.
They couldn't score points against the Niners.
They scored 19 on the Niners defense, which was good. On the Rams defense,
they were
Niners
signing
defense
guys off the
was falling
street.
apart.
The Rams defense is
They gave up 41 points the next week.
They gave up 41 in the Bears game. The Niners defense is still more capable. The Rams defense was one of the worst in the NFL from Thanksgiving on. They were giving up 33 points a game.
You're doing the exact numbers thing we just talked about. There's context to it. The 49ers were injury-riddled. The Rams were at least healthy.
The context was the Rams were healthy and they were getting smoked. They were losing to the Falcons on the road. They were losing to Carolina on the road. They were losing to bad teams on the road.
I don't know what you watched that said that Eagles team was beating any team in the playoffs, maybe outside the Panthers.
I would say that the Rams were losing to bad teams on the road, and the Eagles never lose to the Rams. The Eagles consistently beat the Rams, whether they play them at their place or whether they play them at our place.
The fact that holds weight to you still with what the Eagles looked like is insane to me.
No, I'll go with just as what I did give you, that the Rams were playing crappy football and weren't beating any. They were losing to crappy teams.
The Rams just missed the Super Bowl by 5 points.
They did. They got themselves. They put it together. They played very well. They played terribly against a Carolina team. Terribly. Did you watch that game?
Yeah, but they
were horrible.
Again, they put up points, which I don't think the Eagles were keeping up with.
But they put up points, but they had to put up a bunch of points because their defense was so terrible. The Eagles' defense is much better than Carolina's, like 100% better than Carolina's. It's a different game. And the Eagles play Sean McVay very well.
Yeah, I'm just saying
win
they
that chess
scored
match every
27
time.
yereally against that Seahawks defense, and the Eagles' defense is very comparable to Seattle's defense.
I think the Eagles would absolutely have scored like 26 on the Rams.
I really don't see it.
Okay.
I mean, it had been what was the?
This is the Rams teams losing to Carolina and Atlanta and stuff that when they had everything to play for, number one seed to play for, and they weren't beating bad teams.
What did we say? The Eagles hadn't scored 24 points against a playoff team since September. No, it was against the Rams.
No, I'm just saying to you is that
ago.
And they
again,
don't get there without the blocked field goal.
yeah, they don't, but they got it.
that's right.
They got it done. They beat the Rams every time.
I
You
don't
can't just do they beat the Rams every time.
I don't think the Eagles would have beaten the Rams, man. I really don't. I think the Eagles beat the Panthers. I think they could have beaten the Bears. I do believe they could have.
See,
gone
I was
to
more
Chicago.
worried about that. I'm more worried about going to Chicago and winning that game. Much more worried about that one.
Well, if they just beat the 49ers and scored 24 points,
But they didn't.
that would have been nice.
But they didn't.
All right, Phillies. I want to bring up because I just want to see John's reaction. If John's upset that we're saying the Eagles couldn't have beaten the Rams in make-believe land, this is not make-believe land. This is real land. The Phillies did re-sign JT Realmuto. That did happen.
That's shocking.
We can't even talk what-ifs. They did do it.
They did it. Yeah, they bid against themselves, too, which is great.
And I know you weren't too thrilled with the 3-year, neither was I.
By the way-
3-year extension of JT
By the way,
Realmuto.
since we saw the contract, too, the Boston beat writers, the Boston newspapers, that Boston had reportedly a 1-year deal on the table, as did Tampa Bay.
Well, he got 3 here.
At 40, at top of the market.
So JT spoke last week. We didn't play any of it because Dave Dombrowski spoke the same day, and that obviously carried more weight. With all due respect to JT Realmuto, the Pobo carries a little bit more weight here in Philadelphia, especially when the Pobo is not really being loved by many Phillies fans, and myself included. So I went back and looked at some of the things that JT Realmuto had to say, and I just want to play a couple of clips because I'm curious to get John's reaction to it. This was early on in the press conference. This was JT Realmuto talking about how he valued himself differently than the team that actually gave him the contract extension.
Yeah, it was different just in the sense that, where I'm at in my career, the goals were really kind of different for us and obviously for the Phillies as well. The main thing for me, I know how the game works and I know there's certain values on players. And at the end of the day, I just value myself and what I do for the team and the clubhouse differently than what the Phillies did for a while. So that's why it took longer than they maybe should have. And as far as the team goes, I think we shape up pretty good. I mean, obviously we had a good year last year, won the division, didn't work out for us in the postseason, but we're bringing a lot of the same guys back and adding some new good pieces. So I'm excited for this year.
So I appreciate self-worth, right, and thinking highly of yourself. I think that's a great way to go about life. But he starts saying, how he valued himself differently than the way that the Phillies valued him. And you should be, thanking the Phillies for being the only team that did value the way that they did. The Phillies valued you at 3 years, and I don't know what the initial dollar was. We don't know. We know 3-year contract was on the table. And Dave Dombrowski and JT Realmuto both said last week it came down to dollars and cents.
And the Phillies had not offered enough on the 3-year deal to get him to sign it.
But Realmuto, only other offers reportedly
was a 1-year, I'm going Tampa Bay Times.
Yes.
A 1-year, $12 million offer from Tampa. And the Tampa reporters believed that there was a 1-year comparable offer from the Boston Red Sox on the table with a vesting option for 2. So, in other words, you bid against yourself.
Yes.
So if JT believes, well, I think I'm worth much more than what the Phillies were offering me. Okay.
You got the most from the Phillies than any other team in Major League Baseball.
If you're doing a negotiation, Dave Dombrowski's got to say, okay, you go get me the best deal you can get on the market. Bring it to me, and I'll hopefully we can beat it. Come on now.
Yep.
Seriously, they bid against themselves.
Now later in his press conference, I do agree with what he's saying in the grand scheme of things, talking about how catchers in Major League Baseball seem to always be a little undervalued. I do agree with that. But listen to what JT Realmuto had to say about himself and catchers in baseball.
Yeah, it's definitely frustrating. Like I said, I believe in myself, and I believe that I bring value to the team. And I know that I haven't had my best years the last couple of years, but I do believe that it's not like age or physically related. It's something that I can improve on and work on and be better for the years to come. So it's definitely frustrating the way the system plays out and the way that catchers are valued. And obviously I understand the aging process where everybody ages and everybody deteriorates. So that side of it I get. It's just I don't feel like I'm at that point in my career yet to where I feel like I still have good years left in me.
So let's talk about this. Defensively, I still think of JT Realmuto very highly, and I know that the pitching staff loves him, right? Like, we know that.
Even though you know he's a declining asset defensively.
He's still at a very high level, declining, sure, still at a very high level defensively.
Like you can't say the
BCIB? No,
yeah,
BCIB, that's been done.
It's been done.
When he says, I know I haven't been myself the last couple of years, but it's not age-related, well, then what is it? Because offensively, the last 3 years have been a steady decline, and he's now 35. So when I hear him say that, I get it. He's speaking for himself, and he's always going to, talk himself up, which I get it. I respect that. But if it's not age and the amount of innings that he's played over his career, then what is it?
Like if it's not injury or age, what could it be?
2022, when they went to the World Series, he batted .276 and had a .342 on base percentage and hit 22 home runs. You would sign up for that.
Oh, yes.
From a catcher?
Yes. No, absolutely.
Like not everybody's Cal Raleigh, right? Like I know Cal Raleigh hit. Did he finish with 60 this year? I think he reached 60 home runs.
So, yeah.
Not everyone's Cal Raleigh.
No,
that's why
nobody wants.
What Cal Raleigh did this year
it,
was historic.
Yes,
like
yes.
that's not happening. Like Cal Raleigh, Salvador Perez. Not many guys are hitting that many home runs from behind the dish, and also catching at a very high level, which Cal Raleigh does. You would sign up for 22 home runs, .276 batting average, 342 on base percentage in a heartbeat from any catcher at any age.
If you told me right now I'm getting from JT 20, if you told me 20 home runs, 330 on base, catching to the level, competent level where he's been that neighborhood of competency where I'm going to be, and he's going to knock in, what?
60 70 RBI.
70? Yeah, I'd be okay with it. I'd be okay with it.
Since then, the 3 seasons.
But that's not 3 years, $45 million.
No.
That's not worthy of that contract.
Since then, I have his averages. 2023, 24, 25 all combined. He's a .257 hitter with a .315 on base percentage.
That's too low.
And it's just not.
And what's the .315? What's the on base percentage for the 3 years?
What, individually?
Yeah.
.310 in 23, .322 in 24. Last year was .315, so it averages out at .315.
Yeah, but that's 3 years in a row below where he needs to be.
It's just not good.
Yeah, he's declining.
What about the home runs?
He's averaged over the 3 years 15 home runs.
That's terrible. I mean, that's terrible.
Yeah, I get why he's saying what he's saying, though, because we've all gone through this. Every single person on the planet, where you come to terms with the fact that you can't do stuff that you used to be able to. And a lot of people fight against that. Just think about regular day people. Right? You can still go out and play in that beer league softball game.
Oh, yeah, man.
Oh, wait, I'm way sorer than I thought I was going to be. Like, he's fighting against the I'm getting older thing, and he is, and we can all see it, but he hasn't accepted it yet, which I think we can all understand. And the other thing that factors in with the catcher part is I think that he feels catchers get an unfair rap for how they age. And that's been a thing forever. Yeah. And I think that's also factual. But I think he looks around at guys getting contracts into their late 30s as like DHs, and he's like, "Hey, I could still play."
Yeah, but he can't be DH.
But he's also declining.
And he's declining.
And I'm just telling you where the mentality is at.
And
I got you.
He wants what I hear from him is a lifetime achievement award. He wants a lifetime achievement contract.
Oh, I don't think that at all. I think he still thinks he's really, really good.
That's great. He can think it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And he hasn't come to terms with the fact that he is who he is at this point in his career.
I got you, but it's the Phillies' job to say, no, you're not.
Yeah.
It's their job to go, JT, it's great that you think these things. No, you're not.
Yeah, it is their job, and they didn't do it.
And they went and they paid him top of market.
Yeah.
Paid him $15 million a year, 3 years.
Neil chimes in on our YouTube chat. All this talk about overpaying a guy like $3 to $5 million, it's not a big deal. To me, it's not the dollar amount. It's the years. And you gave him a 3-year contract where he's turning 35 years old at a position that does not get better with age, right? Catcher is it's not like kicker in the NFL where you could be 40 years old still kicking. Catchers don't age like fine wine. They really don't.
No, they sort of spoil.
And so he's 35, and you're giving him a 3-year contract.
It's so.
I said it a million times. 2-year deal, sign me up. 1-year deal, hell yeah.
No, the 1-year deal, which is what 2 other organizations were reportedly offering. So what you did is they got the call from Bo Bichette, and they pooped their pants. They panicked. Oh, my gosh. We cannot let – this will be a PR disaster if JT Realmuto goes out the door. Instead of knowing that they've done their research, knowing what the market is for JT Realmuto, they panicked. And they said, what does he want? He wants 15? Give him 15. He wants 3 years? Give him 3 years. They panicked. And John Middleton should be so annoyed. He just should be so annoyed. And more importantly, Preston Mattingly should be, because he's going to take over this mess.
By the way, I think John Middleton is annoyed because...
Oh, no, I believe he is.
I found it very interesting that the reporting this weekend was like, the Phillies are not done yet, despite what Dave Dombrowski said. And I wonder how much of that is coming from above Dave Dombrowski saying, hey, I want people in this stadium. I want butts in these seats. And everything that I'm seeing on social media or what this PR staff is telling me, people aren't happy. Fix it.
And I said to you last week that from what I was told, the ownership might have a different opinion about the opt-out years than Dave Dombrowski does. The guy who pays the money may feel differently about that outdated, antiquated policy. So...
Connor?
We may see that change.
That's lie to us until we get to spring training, and hopefully you forget about it.
Yeah.
That's how that reads to me.
No, probably. But he wants to change that PR big time.
Yeah.
He wants people buying tickets. He is a businessman, by the way. All right, coming up next. It must be very painful to be a Jets fan. Not that you need any more information, but I'll explain why coming up next. Also, where were you when... And I always wonder, what if we had to deal with it? It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. All right, let's talk about that FanDuel Sports. We got, what, I go 2-2 this weekend? You got to give our
you went 2-2
updates on the picks. I went 2-2 this weekend. I've just been steady, 2-2, 2-2, 2-2. It is the last call for football on FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge. One final Sunday, one last kickoff, the final chance to place your bets before the NFL season closes its tab. It's Super Bowl 60, and FanDuel is making sure that you're in on it. If you're a new customer, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. So if you're back in the favorite, riding with the underdog, building the last same game parlay, or maybe you're Connor Thomas, you put the $5 down on heads or tails. We will find out what the pick is eventually. And then all of a sudden that hits. You got $200 to mess around with in-game for the rest of the Super Bowl. Whatever it is, make it count, because after all, the Super Bowl, that's it. Season's over after this. Football is officially done. Last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Just visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. You got to be 21 plus and present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-trouble bonus bets. It expires 7 days at the receipt. Restrictions apply, including see terms, at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Super Bowl is set. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Super Bowl is all ready to roll. 2 weeks till the big game, and we know who's going to be competing after the NFC and AFC championship games took place yesterday. New England beat Denver 10-7 on the AFC side. In Seattle, they defended home field, beat the Rams 31-27 up in Seattle, and now it's going to be Drake May versus Sam Darnold in Santa Clara. Super Bowl 60 with the Lombardi on the line. The Eagles are still working on finding their next offensive coordinator. James Palmer of The Athletic talked recently on Middays with Marks about everything that goes into how the Eagles are evaluating their candidates, but also how the candidates are evaluating the job.
I think when these guys are looking at the situation and the quarterback situation, they are going, can I run exactly what I want to run? I just think there is an aspect of the offense, and it's still Nick's offense, and there's some things that might hold you back from doing the stuff that you want to do.
We'll keep you updated on all the news surrounding that still open position. The Sixers game in Charlotte has been moved up to 3 p.m. today as they try and account for the inclement weather. You can hear that game live here on the Fanatic as they take on the Hornets. You can also listen to the Flyers host the Islanders at 7 p.m. tonight. That's live right here on the Fanatic as well. If you're heading down to that game, make sure you drive carefully. Obviously, we know with the winter storm, the roads are rough. But Philly, you hungry? Good thing Uber Eats has a great deal waiting for you at Lock Out Your Cheetah Food Truck. From now until June 30th, get a buy one, get one deal on select items on the app. Order now only on Uber Eats. Terms apply. See app for details. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
By the way, somebody tweeted at me earlier saying, "Hey, thanks for being on the air this morning, guys. I want to thank you for listening. Like,
yeah, we appreciate you being here.
I mean, seriously, like a lot of you are home, and I hope you are. I hope you're comfortably home, and you still made the decision to listen or watch on YouTube Kincade and Salciunas today. So we thank you. We thank the YouTube community.
Thank you
a lot
so
of
much.
The common names are there. Appreciate anybody that's been a part of the show today because even if you're home, you still checked out the show this morning.
And we had fun. We had fun yesterday.
Yeah, it was a good time.
It was fun. And shout out to the folks at the Hilton.
Yeah, they did a tremendous time. And the fact that they kept the kitchen open.
They did a really nice job.
I hope they put them in the rooms, some of the cooks and the staff.
I think they did.
Probably.
I think they did because they had a lot of empty rooms Saturday night that were people that had canceled out.
Well, that's why we were able to check in at, 11? What time did you get there?
Rodman was first. I was right after Rodman. So I think I got there like 8:30.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize it was that early.
When I opened the garage door, it had to be like 8, maybe 8:40 because I opened the garage door and went outside. We had 3 inches of snow out in Landview. And I'm like, no way.
Yeah, you're like,
I'm like, no freaking way. This is coming down too fast. We ended up with a foot.
Yeah.
So I was like, no way.
That's why I had the Fanatic Explorer, baby. Rev that bad boy. I don't know how you made it.
By the
soft.
way, too, people, when there's a snowstorm and you're driving, and I decided to get myself to Route 3, Westchester Pike, get to Westchester Pike, take it down to City Line Avenue, make a left, and go past there. And just so I would literally just have to make one left turn to get to the station. When you are driving in a snowstorm and you're coming to an intersection and there's a red light, green light, and there's nobody on the road.
Just keep going, baby.
Just drive.
Yep.
Stop.
Yeah, don't
don't
worry.
be stopping people.
Be pulling you over.
Just keep be cautious, but drive. Because I saw people getting stopped and making other people get stopped. Connor, you had some of this yesterday.
Yeah, well, I could get stuck on my own in my car.
Well, you have a rear wheel drive, which is tough. But I'm just watching people, and they're stopping and they're sitting at traffic lights. I'm like, just keep driving, folks.
I was yelling on 76 coming here yesterday because
how bad was 76?
Really bad. But there was somebody that was stopping because they saw like a thing of snow coming up that wasn't plowed.
Oh, boy.
And they came to a stop, and then what happened?
Everybody starts.
No, they then could not go. They stopped.
No.
And I was like, I'm sorry, man. Every man for himself. So, I just kept going.
Yep.
You don't stop. You gotta
Can't stop.
You gotta keep going. All right. Real quick, update us on the picks. I know I just mentioned in my FanDuel read I went 2-2 this weekend.
We have a Connor and Andrew both went 2-2. And only one spot is up for grabs. Who finishes in second?
Congratulations.
Championship was won yesterday, 3-1 for me on championship weekend. So the record for the year has been clinched. Number 1, 50-34. Andrew, you're 44-40 going into Super Bowl weekend, where we will pick 4. We'll have 4 bets. Yeah. And Connor, 41-43.
You gotta get above 500.
Connor has now had 6 chances where he has been at one point 1 game below. All he's got to do is win this next game, and he keeps losing it.
I like being by 500.
So he's
nice
below. He's below under. So Connor
nice
at 49%, Andrew at 52%, and myself at 60%. I got to say though, and Erin Kate Dolan is a fine handicapper.
Okay.
And an O'Hara girl.
Okay.
So she's great. They're bragging about her percentage on SportsCenter. If you would bet my 4 picks every week, you would have had a better percentage.
Not everybody's John Kincade.
I'm just saying.
Not everybody's in three Hall of Fames.
Exactly. She's not in the O'Hara Hall of Fame yet, but she'll end up there.
All right. It always is painful to be a Jets fan. Thank God that we're not. But I just saw a tweet from a Twitter account called Knicks Memes, New York Knicks. They're a big Knicks fan page.
Is it? Oh, it's real. Like it's not making fun of the Knicks.
No, they're a fan page, kind of like Phillies Nation, Eagles Nation, all that kind of stuff. January 7th of 2024. So it was the 23 season. The New York Jets beat the Patriots in Week 18 for the first time since 2015. So it had been 9 years since they had last beaten the New England Patriots. Both teams were out of the playoffs. Didn't matter for any of them. when Breece Hall scored the touchdown to make it a 2-score game, all the Jets players were doing snow angels because there was snow on the field. Jets fans in the stands were throwing snow, but they were celebrating. Like, we finally beat the Patriots. It took us 9 years. We finally beat them. Despite what's going on this year for both teams, we're just happy we got a win. It moved the Patriots up a spot to land Drake May.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
So this win at the time, because the Patriots had won 4 games, the Jets finished the year 7-10. So, like, people are thinking this doesn't matter or anything. They actually helped the Patriots out get to the Super Bowl 2 years later.
That's incredible. That's so bad. That's bad. Well, you know what though? Jets and that. And we did the thing on the Giants a few weeks ago, right? Where the Giants keep screwing up their draft pick
they win the last 2 games every year.
When it doesn't matter.
It's unbelievable, which is just tremendous. All right, so the Super Bowl is in 2 weeks. And, of course, it is a, somewhat rematch of the two teams. Obviously, the players are completely different. Of the 2015-16 Super Bowl, I guess it would be, because I was a junior in college.
No, it's a rematch of the year after the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
The year after, that's right.
It was Super Bowl 53.
That was the
in Atlanta, Super Bowl 53. It was the worst Super Bowl, arguably, you could ever have attended. It was 13-3 or something. It was in Atlanta.
No, that was Rams.
No.
That was Rams.
We're talking
Patriots.
Seahawks Patriots.
Oh, Seahawks Patriots. I'm sorry.
No,
Seahawks Patriots was
Seahawks Patriots. I was a junior in college. And I remember this vividly.
Oh, it was the snow, because I got caught in New York in the snow, and it was the Seahawks Denver. It was in the Dome in Arizona or the Dome in Indianapolis. It's one of them.
I'm talking about the Seahawks Patriots.
Okay, it was one of them. It was in a dome. That was in a dome.
It was the Malcolm Butler interception.
Yes, on the 1 yard line.
And again, I was a junior in college. My roommate Kyle. We were watching the game, and I remember when they threw the football, and the interception happened, and I was just screaming. I had no action on the game. I didn't care. I was just so appalled by the decision made to not hand the ball off to Marshawn Lynch on the goal line with time to spare. By the way, it's not like this was a 1 second left on the clock. They had to do or die throw it, and I screamed so loud that my downstairs neighbor, she was an art major. She didn't care about sports. She went to bed. I remember meeting her. She told me she went to bed at like 7 o'clock because she loved painting sunrises. Oh, no, that was different.
One?
That was a roommate. This is just the person that lived beneath me.
Oh, okay.
We woke her up. We were so, shocked by what the Seahawks did. And I can remember exactly where I was when that play happened. Do you? Like that play, the not handing the ball off to Marshawn Lynch, even though it had nothing to do with the Eagles, I had no money on the game.
I was there. I was at the game, so but it was a dome, if I remember. It might have been in Arizona dome. I know it was a dome game, but that's all I can remember.
See, I can remember that everything around me.
No, I remember. I mean, I remember the craziness of it. That everybody's saying
it was in Glendale. By the way.
It was in Glendale.
Yeah,
and see that. Here's Seattle going for another Super Bowl championship.
Yeah.
Trying to go back to back.
And they overthought for whatever
from the 1
reason.
yard line.
Connor, do you remember where you were at?
I don't. I remember seeing the play, but I don't remember where I was watching it.
See, that play to me is like an all-time doofus decision it literally ended the Super Bowl. This wasn't a week 2. This wasn't throwing the ball to Saquon against the Falcons 2 years ago,
I remember the offensive coordinator of the Seahawks was getting death threats.
Oh my God, really? Yeah, well,
over it because it was so bad.
It was horrible. What would have happened if that was here?
Oh, come on now. Oh my God.
I'd have broken
especially
a lot of
when
things.
you had Skittles. You could just hand the ball to Skittles and win the Super Bowl.
I was angry for Seahawks fans.
Yeah.
I can only imagine if that happened here, how we would react if our Eagles lost a Super Bowl when you had Marshawn Lynch, or hell, you have Saquon Barkley.
And it was second down. They had time. Second down was the pass, right? I think it was
I don't
second.
remember what
it
down
wasn't
it
a
was,
fourth. It
but
wasn't
yeah.
It was
fourth
second and
down,
1.
and they had time on the clock. So again, it wasn't like they had to do that play.
No.
And for whatever reason, they decided to throw the ball on the goal line with Marshawn Lynch.
And if you remember the story, Bill Belichick was so detail-oriented. He had studied every play that their offense had run from the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4. Their offensive coordinator and him had looked at it all. Their defense coordinator had looked at it all week long, and they practiced that play.
Really?
They practiced defending that play. They looked at the look, saw the look, and look what happened.
Second and goal, 1
Second and
yard
goal.
line.
Yep.
26 seconds left, and
With a timeout.
and a timeout.
And a timeout. There was no reason to ever do that.
The color commentator for the Patriots radio broadcast, Scott Zolak,
Yep.
quote,
Works at our
"It's
sister
got to
station.
be one of the dumbest calls offensively in Super Bowl history. You're on the 1 yard line, and you have number 24, and you drop back to pass. Are you kidding me? And also, they ran a pick play, an illegal pick. You deserve an interception." This is the guy that's pro-Patriots saying this.
Yes.
That's how shocking that play was. I'm surprised you don't, I remember, where I was sitting, everything.
Yeah, I watched it. I remember the play.
I remember
I was focused on the play.
I
don't know
remember
the
I
setting.
sat next to Jesse Palmer.
Oh, how about that?
That's all I remember. Jesse Palmer was.
All right, coming up next. It may be too early for him to talk about it, but it isn't too early for us to think about it. Connor said something earlier in the show. It's like you read the show sheet. Could there be one less threat in the NFC next year? It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. It is 9:47 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. Johnny Mark's out today, right?
Yeah, he's a little
Due
under
to
the weather.
illness, yes, the stomach bug that is all over the place. So Ray Dunn will be hosting the show. Ray Dunn, of course, making the walkover from the hotel as well. So Ray will be hosting Middays. That comes your way
Dutzy's
at
here.
10 o'clock. Brendan Dutz is here. Appreciate that.
After the terrible loss for him, because he's a big Denver fan.
Yes, he is. Couple of programming notes. So the Sixers and Hornets play today in Charlotte. They play at 3 o'clock. They actually moved the game up because of the weather. So the Sixers will be aired here on 97.5 The Fanatic at 3 o'clock. The Flyers play tonight. That game was originally going to be on MMR because they were going to be playing at the exact same time. When the Sixers and Flyers play at the same time, Flyers games are on WMMR. But because of the change of Sixers schedule, the Flyers game will now be here on the Fanatic
So
tonight.
now it's coming to us.
Yes.
Double feature. Love that.
And
Yes.
the island, by the way, there's some Flyers blog sites that are saying, I wonder if the Flyers game's going to be canceled tonight. The Islanders are in town.
Yes.
The Flyers are in town. The Flyers-Islanders game will be played. Whether there will be fans there or how many fans get to the game, that's the difference. You make that, please be careful. Connor's been telling you. Please be careful.
Yeah, just be careful.
Be careful. The teams are in town.
Yeah, Ed Rendell, he said it best.
The game is going to be played. The teams are
We
in town.
become a nation of wusses.
The Islanders got to town last night.
Hell, it's hockey. They could play outside right now if they
could.
wanted to.
That'd be kind of cool. Probably
There's a
lake
lot
somewhere.
of stuff there's just a lot of stuff that.
How many inches of ice need to be there?
The Quattro.
Yeah,
Half.
good job. We
Half an
we
inch.
learned that on Friday.
Half an
4 inches of ice.
That's if you're walking across a icy.
All right, real quick before we talk about whether or not there's a team in the NFC that could potentially not be a contender next year. Diana Rossini, 15 minutes ago. The Eagles continue to search for their next offensive coordinator. They are set to speak with Houston Texans quarterbacks coach Gerard Johnson. Johnson has no play calling experience.
No. Are you kidding me? What? C.J. Stroud is one of the biggest messes in the NFL.
Yeah.
He is one of the biggest. They should have police tape around his locker.
I'd say this. If C.J. Stroud threw 40 touchdown passes, I don't want to get another guy who's never called plays before because I don't know if he knows how to think on second down, third down, fourth down.
Because of what he's done with C.J. Stroud?
Well, he goes back. We mentioned his name earlier. He goes back to Nick in 2020. He was on the Colts coaching staff back in 2020.
Oh.
Look,
worse yet, Charlie Weiss Jr. is staying at LSU.
Oh, did that just get announced?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Send the house for Joe Brady.
So remember Zach Berman last week? We did the show reacting to his tweet about what's happening in the offensive coordinator stuff. He just tweeted 10 minutes ago that Gerard Johnson met with the Eagles during the offensive coordinator search in 2024 following the Brian Johnson season. One thing is becoming clear. Eagles are not limiting search to only established play callers.
Oh, my gosh.
I can't do this again because I will say what I said about Patullo. It does not mean that Kevin Patullo doesn't know football or that Gerard Johnson doesn't know football or doesn't know offenses or doesn't know how offenses work. I imagine they both Johnson and Kevin Patullo know a lot about how offenses work. But there is something about when the headset is on, when your offense is not clicking, or your defense needs a breather, and your ground game's not working, and you need to be able to think on the fly. I'm not saying Gerard Johnson would not work.
Wait a minute.
I don't know.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you don't want to? You have to have a guy who's called plays?
I would like a guy that has called plays at some level.
I don't need it. Again, I would give you if it's like a Declan Doyle. Like I don't want. By the way, I don't want anybody who has had anything to do right now with the guy I wanted had something to do with C.J. Stroud, and he's the guy who told C.J. Stroud, "We're not doing it like you did it in college," and they fired him, and he's gone downhill since they got rid of Slowick, and he went to Miami, and then he's now the Miami offensive coordinator. I would tell you if you think guys are too young or they need it, Kyle Shanahan. Sean McVay, 28 years old, never called plays, got to call plays, got to be an offensive coordinator. Kyle Shanahan, 29 years old, never called plays, never been
I'm
offensive
fine with it.
coordinator.
I don't care about the age. I just want a guy that's called plays.
But they never did. They are the two brightest minds in the NFL. You trust the candidate. Each guy's different. The two brightest offensive minds in the game are guys that at 28 and 29, somebody said, okay, this guy's next level. Liam Cohen is outlandish. He's an outlandish offensive mind.
Yeah.
Another young guy who got his shot, young. I'm telling you, I have no problem with it.
All right.
It's just because they're not Kevin Patullo, who was on a staff for
Gerard
17
Johnson's
years.
only 37.
And that's young. No, but I don't want anybody who has anything to do with the Houston Texans offense. And more importantly, C.J. Stroud. What have they done for C.J. Stroud?
He did coach under Shanahan.
No.
So people
He's not helping C.J. Stroud get better.
All right.
He's the quarterback coach too.
The Eagles are interviewing. They're going to interview John Kincade next.
Oh, that's awful.
Real quick,
that'd be worse.
Connor, you mentioned this earlier. We don't know the future of Matthew Stafford. If he retires, I would imagine that takes the Rams out of contention for at least a year, right?
Yeah, for sure.
What do you mean you don't know the future? You think he's retiring?
Oh, we don't know.
He could.
Yeah, he could. I don't see any reason why you would be thinking he's retiring, though.
Age?
No, I don't think any reason he's retiring. I mean, I wouldn't think there's any reason to think he's retiring.
Age?
Yeah,
No, I don't think
that's all.
No, I don't think there's any reason.
I'm not saying
to
it's a
think of
lock.
that.
I'm just saying
No, I don't think
I would
there's
imagine
any-
there's a
I don't-
possibility.
I don't think there's been nothing from him to indicate that. Yeah, I'm not having as much fun. I want to walk away. You usually would have I think heard more rumblings because yesterday he could have been going into his last game. I think we would have heard rumblings that is this Matthew Stafford's last game. I don't think he's going anywhere.
Okay.
It'd be amazing if it was.
And if
because
it was,
it would open up the NFC.
They would have to get creative with quarterback.
Because I think we would have heard something yesterday of, could this be Matthew Stafford's last football game? None of it.
Yeah, I don't expect it, but to say it's not on the table at all,
Yeah,
I don't
it's
think would be
possible.
fair.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Yeah, I don't think it's something he's even contemplating.
By the way, I
It'd
didn't
be great if it was.
another bit of Eagles OC.
What now?
Nuggets. This
What now?
this from Rap Sheet.
Any good news?
The Eagles interviewed Dolphins offensive coordinator Frank Smith for their vacant OC.
That's not a real person.
What?
How'd the Dolphins offense go the last couple of
No. He's
John
the guy,
Doe is going to
Wait a minute.
interview later this week.
He's the guy that he's the guy Slowick worked under, and they hired Slowick.
Yeah. Hey, what does that tell you?
No.
Per Ian Rapport, by the way, somebody's agent. He was a key lieutenant to Mike McDaniel. Smith could bring McDaniel's version of the
No, he
scheme
can't.
to Philly.
No.
That is all-time agent texted Rap Sheet.
Yeah, okay, then send him to the Army, not to the Eagles.
Key lieutenant.
Oh my gosh.
Aye, soldier. Like what key lieutenant? They went to battle? Whose capris could be tighter?
Exactly.
All right.
Oh, please, no.
I'm glad we made it in.
Okay, the fact
Now
that
we can
Charlie
get
Weiss
home.
Jr., that's what I was holding out hope for when
Yep.
Slowick wasn't. My two top choices are gone.
Yep.
Declan Doyle. Declan Doyle's my last hope.
Sorry, Johnny. All right, everybody have a fun, safe day. Enjoy the snow. Also stay warm. Middays with Ray comes your way next. Ray Dunn in for Johnny Marks today here on The Fanatic.